First portion of the meeting is just a public hearing on the annexation of 152 Route 32, New Paltz. Enclosed is a petition of Dean Van Tassel for annexation of the reference parcels to the village. Mr. Van Tassel is the owner of 100% of the assessed valuation of the land in question, which satisfies the legal requirement for making the application. So basically, the parcel is adjacent to the newly rezoned village district, which encourages responsible development at the critical gateway to the village center on Route 32. In order to ensure consistency of development and planning in this key corridor, where development in accordance with the new zoning on adjacent sites will soon follow, annexation will benefit both municipalities in terms of tax revenue and overall design standards. And that was submitted by the people who are asking for the annexation. So, would anybody like to speak towards this project? Anybody? Nobody?
So,
Joe?
before you start, technically under the statute, the two boards are supposed to vote jointly on a person to essentially be the chair of the meeting.
Oh.
I nominate Susan Supervisor Zimmer to chair the meeting.
I was going to do that to you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thanks, I was actually...
You can do it, Susan.
So I'll make a motion to close the public hearing,
but... I
but
don't think we can until 7:30, right, Joe?
why? We opened it for 7:15.
Okay,
Yeah.
so nobody wants to talk?
So nobody has anything to say. There's no...
Do you want to say anything? No?
Okay, so I make a motion to close the public hearing on the annexation
Okay.
at 152 Route 32 in Sunset Ridge.
Okay, do I have a second for the town?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Right.
I'll make the same motion for the village.
Second.
All in favor?
Motion so carried.
Okay.
Okay, so now we can't do anything till 7:30.
Well, but it was silly.
Right.
Nobody wanted to say anything.
So it's fine.
May we act on it?
No, we can't act on it. What Joe's going to do, and it's on the agenda, so I don't think we could really do it until we get to the open portion of the meeting, or can we do it now? Joe's going to advise how the two boards need to move forward from a procedural perspective, but then I think there are issues that Joe wants to talk to the town board about that we might need to take under consideration before we're prepared to take action. So,
Do anything?
till 7:30.
We do that now before
Yeah,
you...
do it.
Can we do that now, even though it's on the agenda and it's only...
It's executive session for the town board?
No, Joe's going to explain
Well-
procedurally what the two boards need to do.
Then that's
But then why don't,
Can't Joe explain it? We just can't take
Wait
action.
until 7:30.
You got 7 minutes to kill, Joe. You're a lawyer. You can do it.
I'll
okay.
have to cut the presentation in half,
Touche.
but I'll do my best.
Take as long as you need.
In a short version here, what each of the boards
Can you just use the microphone?
what each of the boards are now supposed to do under the general municipal law statute is each needs to adopt a resolution determining whether or not the board feels that the annexation of this piece of property into the village is in the interest of the respective governments.
Can I ask a question, Joe?
Sure.
Is the resolution as short as that, a 2-sentence resolution?
It is supposed to contain findings in it that each board make as to why it is in the public
So,
interest to do
more
it.
elaborate. Thank you.
Okay. In the absence of any objections with respect to the petition itself, and I'm not aware of any, the boards then are free to deliberate about why it is in the best interest of the community to do the annexation. Each board is supposed to adopt a resolution, and the resolution has to be adopted by the majority vote of each board's total membership. So I guess we have two boards of 5. It's supposed to be by 3 of 5 with respect to each board. There are provisions in the statute if one board does not vote for it and the other board does vote for it, and we can explore those. If it's not adopted, obviously the petition for annexation then fails. If it is adopted by the majority vote of both of the boards, each of the boards is supposed to do a resolution. Each resolution gets filed with the clerk of your respective governmental units, and essentially the annexation is then complete. If there is a contrary vote by one of the boards, there are provisions in the statute for filing each of the resolutions in the Ulster County Clerk's office. There's also a judicial remedy, there's an appeal to the appellate division and the rest of it. So I guess this will depend on, what the boards do after this. One suggestion that I would make to each of the boards, because technically this is an action that each board is taking, you should do seeker. So if the village is going to meet on this later, it should do a resolution, I think, to perhaps appoint itself lead agency for purposes of seeker within the village. Susan, I think the town board should do the same. Dave Klausner, at least for the town, I think probably would be helpful in that. You may need to get a submission by the applicant with respect to, the part one of the, probably a short form, I would think. I don't think this reaches the threshold of a type 1 action, but you should probably do at least a short form and answer the seeker. If it turns into a negative declaration, it does. But you need to do seeker because it is an action that is being conducted by the town and the village each. So seeker is a factor in here.
So we don't do the resolution till the seeker is done?
I would recommend that you do the seeker, and then if you're going to adopt a resolution, do it then. Each of these resolutions must be adopted by the boards within 90 days following the close of the public hearing. So if you're going to diary ahead, you need to diary ahead for the 90 days. There is a default provision in the statute. If in the event that one of the two boards or both of the boards does not adopt a resolution, then it is deemed to have been approved at the end of the 90-day time frame. So if you close the public hearing tonight, you've got 90 days from today that each of the boards should adopt and file their resolutions.
I have a question of what the resolution can contain.
You're going to make me run over my time.
No, it's absolutely fine. Why don't you run, see if you can,
Thank you.
yeah, we can try to share microphones.
Okay. I have a question regarding what the resolution can contain, and, if there's any part of it that has an agreement, say, for instance, we wanted to ensure that whatever was built there was built sustainably to green building design standards. Can we make the annexation contingent on that? Are there qualifying things like that?
I'm not aware of anything that would permit you to put conditions upon the resolution for the annexation. If there is later going to be some plan of development for the property, if it were to be annexed into the village, then your own village zoning laws go
Right.
to apply, and whatever is really required within the village is going to be required for this particular parcel with respect to zoning.
Okay.
But I don't think that you can condition it. If you are concerned about a particular project, and if there is a project in mind and being considered, the time to get that from the developer would really be now, because that may feed into the seeker.
Right.
If there is no specific plan at this time, then maybe that's not really required. If there is a specific plan, now would be the time. In the absence of that, those seeker and your own village zoning ordinance is going to come into play.
I guess the only thing I'm thinking about is when we did the Floyd Niffen annexation by Henry W., and part of the conversation was having a piece of the property have an easement on it for the proposed Millbrook Preserve, and I don't recall even all the details regarding it, but I know that was part of the conversation, and I don't know if any of that was, I don't know if the annexation was contingent on that at all.
And I honestly don't remember.
Right. Yeah, I mean, neither do I.
I don't know that it was, but it may have come into play later if they came in for a site plan approval or subdivision approval, and I'm not aware of that because it would have happened
At the village level, right.
Yeah.
But I want to clarify, go on with what Ariana's asking. There's a big
Joe,
difference.
can you just pass the microphone over a little bit we'll figure out how we can sort of share these.
I think there's a difference between annexing a property and preserving part of it for a purpose, as opposed to telling a developer he has to follow green principles. And so I guess, Joe, what I need to know, you said that we should state reasons that we see as benefiting, in our case, the village from the annexation. So I would presume things like conformity to development in the B3 zone that we have, an expansion of the tax base and tax revenues in the village. Are
And
those
town.
the type?
And the town.
And right, it would be, but we only write it for us.
Oh, right.
You can write it for us too, if you want.
So those are the kinds of things? Okay.
And actually, and Jason was here for the NIFIN annexation. It's kind of interesting that you're bringing it up because the NIFIN annexation, the public benefit for it, because that's part of the test, is the public benefit. The public benefit was to get, the only way he could donate the land, or you even have Doug?
I actually have Joe.
The only way he could donate the land to the Millbrook Greenway was annexation, because he needed a density which the town does not allow, and the village did. In fact, I remember being at a meeting and you welcomed
Joe.
Floyd to
Joe, that's
The
the
village.
letter that you wrote on the...
I think you said, I believe you said, welcome to the village, and we thank you for your land. But we didn't, but we did not make it a contingent upon doing it. It was stated, so Joe, it was stated by Floyd and Gary when they made the annexation that part of the reason, the public benefit, was the open space being given to the Greenway. We didn't request it.
Okay.
It was, that was the benefit statement, or whatever, I don't know. Ask the lawyer what the word is. I don't-
Right. I remembered that being part of the conversation, but I didn't know how that came about. So,
Right.
and what you're saying makes sense based on what I know in terms of what he would like to build there.
Right, so.
It is 7:32, just by the way.
Oh, so
That's okay.
now.
But while we have Joe here, it's on our dime.
Also asked, though, what should the resolution contain, or what should we do after that? The statute that talks about that offers only a little bit of guidance. It says basically it has to include findings with respect to compliance of the petition with the provisions of Article 17 of the Municipal Annexation Law, and with respect to the effect of the proposed annexation on the overall public interest. So it's fairly broad. The applicant in a, with the applicant in a letter that accompanied the petition dated January 14th, basically the applicants say the parcel is adjacent to the newly rezoned village district, which encourages responsible development at the critical gateway to the village center on Route 32 in order to ensure consistency of development and planning in this key corridor, where development in accordance with the new zoning on adjacent sites will soon follow. Annexation will benefit both municipalities in terms of tax revenue and overall design standards.
Right.
Whether the boards agree with that or not, I don't know, but it may form kind of an outline for you to address in your separate resolutions as to why this may or may not be in the public interest. Okay.
What we could also do is, because we can't really set such stringent guidelines on a single development coming through, that's not our job, but what we can do is go back to the rezone B3 guidelines and look at what we have put in there and add to it. We could do addendums
Right.
following like the safe streets and all the other different current land use philosophies that
Right.
we all, I believe, embrace. And then there is also the other thing that the applicant did agree to a right-of-way through the property to the rail trail, which would greatly enhance access to the rail trail in a safer spot than what we currently have.
Well, that's on the property that's already in the village. This is on this side of.
Yes, I know.
So the access to the rail trail isn't actually part of the annexation specifically. And I had pushed for green building design standards to be in the B3 rezoning, but we were also working simultaneously with the former village planner on a more village-wide green building standard. So I backed off on the B3 in particular so that we can move forward with that.
Right.
But then, of course, we did not move forward with the other part of it. So that's where we're at.
We need to revisit. basically.
Exactly.
Just one last thing, I did some research, but then again, maybe I'm not fully familiar with all of the zoning issues in the village, but I thought this was in the B2, and people have mentioned it's in the B3.
It is, yeah. It's in the B3, but,
B3?
and it's the area that
Or
we
would be.
have recently rezoned.
Okay, that
Yeah.
may be why I thought it was different.
No, we're good.
You've closed the public hearing. What
We
I would
closed it,
suggest
yes.
is that you probably can take this up as each separate board in separate meetings. Do your resolutions on seeker. Start to look at your resolutions regarding the final decision. Make them separately.
Could we do our resolutions to have secret done tonight to move this forward faster?
You could, but I don't know that you have anything here tonight to look at or review for a seeker determination.
I think we should do it at our next meeting.
Question of do we take action requesting a secret be done? Short form.
You could, and would at least let the applicant know that each board is going to do a separate review under seeker. So when you, if you want to do it
Well,
as
we're not
part
going
of
to do
this
the town,
review.
well, we're not going to do it, we won't do the town portion now because you want to talk with us about this project.
It's okay,
If
but if
you
you-
guys want to take action, but there's no, the meeting's, the public hearing's closed and we haven't opened a meeting.
Right. And I prefer to wait. I prefer to do it at a board meeting and have more time.
And also have Will prepare what
Exactly.
needs to be done.
I already emailed him.
Okay, so with that, excuse me? No, we didn't open the meeting yet. Okay, so now what we have to do is we close the public hearing. Now we have to, I'd like a motion to open the joint town village portion of the meeting. All in favor?
Aye.
Same for us.
Okay, can everyone
Aye.
please stand for the pledge?
That's our document.
Stop reading it. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, thank you. Okay. We can stay for a little bit. Okay. There is an announcement that was left here for me. Okay, so for the town village agenda, we have nothing that we have to add. Thank God, because there's so much on there already. It's, yeah, some of it should be very, very quick, but there's a lot.
I
And then we have a
thought
town
we were
board.
adding something about the bike lanes.
Oh, that's right, thank you. That's right, I forgot. I got the wrong one.
Also requesting a recommendation from the efficiency.
Well, consolidation is on here.
It's right there.
Consolidation's on, we got that. Well, that's what it is. On the joint town village agenda, if you see the last thing says consolidation, that's, underneath it, it says consolidation.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I have the former agenda.
Okay, well, so here's the new ones. Okay, they're right here.
Said the comprehensive plan, not,
No, consolidation's underneath it.
You maybe have an.
On the new agenda.
that one,
We
okay.
did it after we had that meeting Monday night, and you, after what the, blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
no, I got it.
Yeah. Okay, so what we do need, you're right, thank you, Ariana.
Is that Henry W.?
Yes. So, do I have a motion to add,
That's all it is, right? Yeah, I'm good with that.
I think it's,
Take the papers off the mic.
I think it's, Two of them are.
Do I have a motion to add the Henry Du Bois bike path to the joint agenda?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion so carried.
Can I request that we move the RUPCO presentation up so our presenter can also get home?
Yes, and I'm also going to do one town action earlier, if I can ask for everybody's indulgence. Although I guess we can appoint somebody during the, Jen, can we do one town action during the joint town village meeting, or Kathy, do you mind staying for a while? You're okay? Okay. We're going to be appointing our new senior advisor, Kathy Puglisi, and she's here tonight for that. So maybe at the very end of our joint thing, we'll open ours up and appoint it while you guys are here and we can talk about it. But we're going to have a senior coordinator who's going to be around for the community who has questions, and for our seniors to be able to get help, walking through all sorts of stuff. And Kathy's here tonight to get appointed. So that's great. Okay, so why don't we, well, we do have Joe here, and we could try to do parades and some other things, but if everybody doesn't mind, we'll do RUPCO if you want.
Yeah, I just thought it'd be.
Okay, so why don't we start with, well, actually, what we have to first do is public input.
Yes.
Okay, so why don't we, and we have to do announcements. So why don't I do the announcement first, and then we'll do public input. I'm supposed to be announcing, attention, single-family homeowners. Was your home damaged by Superstorm Sandy, Hurricane Irene, or Tropical Storm Lee? Do you need help in repairing or rebuilding your home? Are you still or were you displaced for your home for any amount of time? Have you paid for costs to repair your home? Do you need help with paying your mortgage? If you are a single-family homeowner and you answered yes to any of the above questions, you may be eligible for financial assistance through New York Rising Housing Recovery Program. The deadline for the application is April 11th, 2014. Then there's an event. Please join us on March 29th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. at our storm recovery outreach events. Learn about programs for single-family homeowners. Eligible homeowners will be able to apply at these events. And the one in Orange County is at the SUNY Orange Middletown campus on March 29th. And the Ulster County one is at the Kirkland in Kingston. If you can't attend one of our community meetings, you can still apply online at http://stormrecovery.ny.gov or call the Storm Recovery Hotline at 1-855-NYS-SANDY, which is 855-697-7263. And the assistance available is repair, reconstruction, reimbursement, elevation, interim mortgage assistance, and buyouts and acquisitions. And this is through the New York Rising program. So if anybody wants more information, call Town Hall in the next few days, and we can give you more information or contact the right people. So that's the only announcement I have. Does anybody from any of the boards have any other announcements? Okay. We, as a town, have instituted a brand-new policy called records management, where we're going to be closing Town Hall 4 times over the course of the year, so the Town Hall employees could basically do what they need to do to manage the records, because we're running out of space. We need to do things according to law. We're supposed to get rid of certain things at a certain period of time. We're supposed to keep certain things. So tomorrow, we're closing Town Hall. We have somebody from the state coming down who's going to teach everybody who's here in Town Hall about archiving, and then the department heads and the employees in Town Hall are going to be doing records management all day. So we will be closed tomorrow, so thank you for your patience. Anybody else? Anything else? Okay, with that, we'll do public input, but this is really, I guess, just for the joint town boards, if somebody wants to speak. And, okay, Ira, instead of making Ira get up, are you going to be okay? Do you want to? Okay. Are you going to be okay, Ira, to stand, or?
Thank you. Interesting how things kind of work out for me, anyway. I was at the village board meeting yesterday when the college came to present their justification for either tax-free New York or startup New York, depending upon what the politicians and who they're talking to, whether it's the business or the people who are going to have to pay for this. And I listened to some pertinent questions that came from the village trustees. And I also listened to the people representing the tax-free New York kind of not answer them. You know, it was kind of a circular, well, maybe, however, whatever, which is, you know, kind of typical of the way the college does things. They don't answer you directly. Now, today, as I went into my computer, I saw a whole bunch of things regarding this same type of situation, one of them including the fact that on the agenda for Town Gown is the possible annexation of Park Point. And I'm saying to myself, something doesn't make sense here. I saw an article today also in the paper regarding Susan saying she wasn't going to make any special deal so that other people didn't get their tax benefits, that it wasn't all going to come to, you know, the one place, which to me, you know, is the right way to look at it. And then I look at the request for an annexation, and I say to myself, this is nothing more than a backdoor way, in my opinion, for the college to make town residents pay for it anyway. Because the village isn't going to support all of this. They can't. Something doesn't make sense. You add that to the fact that I got letters today about the village wanting to impose rules on landlords and all kinds of things that they had to do, whatever, which would make it more difficult for the landlords to compete with Park Point. Also, since Park Point considers itself a dormitory, because I don't know of any dormitory that has swimming pools and gyms and whatever, and cooking facilities. My dormitories were always a room where we had 3 beds in it, you know, I mean, this was nothing this fancy. To me, this is really nothing more than an apartment, and the college is using the term dormitory because the IDA can't give them any kind of consideration for apartments, but they don't want to call it an apartment. I think there's a major problem here with the college in trying to force them onto, you know, the poor taxpayers in this, you know, in New Paltz, you know, both the village and the town. Right now, the town does most of the subsidies to the college. They subsidize the businesses. You know, if the college wasn't handled or wasn't being subsidized by the town and the village, the things around the students would have to pay a lot more, and I don't think the college wants that.
You got to wrap up, Ira.
Oh, okay. My point is there are a lot of things that are being done for the college right now that are being paid by the town. I.e., let's for example say the loop bus. Loop bus serves the college and it serves the village. Doesn't serve the town, but the town is paying for it. I don't know what the answer is. I just think that when I heard, you know, when I read what Susan had said, and at least that's somebody who's looking out, in my opinion, for everybody, as opposed to the college, who really could care less. They're not a good neighbors. You know, they feel that they run everything. If they take over the town too, you know, I don't know where the people who live here are going to go.
Okay, thank you. And just a very quick thank you for the compliment, but I'm speaking for the entire town board and probably for the village board on this project too, but thank you.
No, it wasn't.
That's okay, I just want to make sure that, you know, I might be the one that gets quoted, but I'm speaking on behalf of everybody, so I just want to point that out. Would anybody else like to speak?
Hi, my name is...
You got to come get a microphone?
Really short, please.
But you still need the microphone so the TV people can hear outside.
My name is Ted Reese. I'm president of the...
But you got to use the microphone. You don't have to just hold it. Yes.
All right, one more time. My name is Ted Reese, and I'm president of the New Paltz Rescue Squad. We are on the agenda tonight. I wanted to read a short introduction to why we asked to be on the agenda. The New Paltz Rescue Squad is requested to be placed on the agenda this evening so that we may discuss our request for additional funds for the 2014 budget year. We have noticed what appear to be misunderstandings about the nature of the request, what the funds will be used for, and why the funds are needed. Our commitment to the communities of New Paltz is to provide the most highly trained professionals in the most timely manner. We have strived over the years to do this in a way that is efficient and cost-effective. It's in the context of these commitments that we reach out to the boards this evening. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, is there anybody else? Judy, do you want to talk? This is the agenda time now? Well, no, this is the public comment, and I didn't know if you were here to speak on behalf of Yeah, so you do it now, and then you can stay while we have the conversation. Yes, you do, because of the TV.
The TV can't
Because the
hear
TV
you,
can't hear, people watching at home can't hear. Okay?
To go through this?
Yes, you do.
Okay, my name is Judy Mage, and I'm an 8-year veteran of the Bicycle Pedestrian Committee. And I've lived on Huguenot Street now for 35 years, so I've had 35 years of attempting to get from one end from the west end of town to the east end of town without going to Main Street, without taking an automobile. So I've had a lot of experience walking up Henry Du Bois, Henry W, we affectionately call it, and biking up. And so that this opportunity that the grant, the $50 million that the federal government is making available for alternative transportation outside of the automobile is, I think, a tremendous possibility to finally make that a safe thoroughfare. I think, Peter, you have the statement that the chairman of our committee, Bike Pedestrian Committee, Bill Weinstein, wrote a statement, a short statement in support of the idea. But what I want to talk about right now is just not so much whether it's a good thing to make this safer for cyclists and safer for pedestrians, but whether it's a practical, doable thing. And that, I think, has been the hang-up over the years. It doesn't seem like it's available to make it that way. And I remember a few years ago they were repaving, and I kept thinking, why can't they just move the paving over a little so there's a shoulder?
If it was only so easy.
But instead of doing that, they did what the county did on 299. They made it worse because it's now higher. So if you're trying to go from the dirt shoulder because a car is coming behind you and trying to get back, it's more dangerous. So anyway, we have this opportunity now to make a grant request. And on the practicality, you know, I don't pretend to be an expert in road building or anything else, but what I'm an expert on is going up and down that road. And as it happens, this is my father's old, yeah, you don't have to hook it onto anything, you can just lay it down flat. And you know, I'm pretty sentimental about this, because he loved to work in wood and he did all kinds of stuff. Anyway, I kept this. And today and yesterday, I went out just to satisfy myself that there was room for a multi-use path that from Route 32 up to Putt Corners that could be a safer way for both cyclists and pedestrians. So from road to road, from 32 to Church Street, from Church onto Prospect, from Prospect to Oakwood, and Oakwood to Mill Rock, and Mill Rock to Manheim. And at some point, the village, how far does the village go on that? To Manheim?
No.
Only to Prospect?
Yeah.
Okay, so whatever.
I actually have, well, we'll talk about it later, but I do actually have the map.
Yeah, okay. But, you know, I've gone from block to block and really eyeballing it and then stretching this out. And, you know, in some places, like, you know, near the beginning, there's a sidewalk that exists. Then the sidewalk disappears. Then there's just the potential for a multi-use path. Then you get to Manheim, and then after Manheim, there's more. There are obstacles, but they're not insuperable obstacles. There are a couple of posts, there's a couple of mailboxes, but I'm talking now just about the south side of the road. Most of the way, you could get an 8-foot wide multi-use path. Where there's a sidewalk, the sidewalk could be for pedestrians. You could have up to a 4-foot bike lane next to the sidewalk. This would go all the way beyond Manheim, down to Harrington, down to Duzine, to Harrington. There's another little stretch of sidewalk there, and then there's quite a wide area. So without even having to cut down a lot of trees, without having to take over a lot of, you know, people's space and everything, you could get this on the south side. The north side is more problematic. You've got rock outcropping, you've got, you know, people's stuff going right down to the road and so on. But for most of the north side, what would be possible is at least a bike lane. You don't really need a pedestrian lane on the north side if you have a good, safe pedestrian path on the south side, because people can walk in two directions. If you're well over, you can walk, you know, you're supposed to walk against traffic, but if you have a dedicated sidewalk and so forth, you know. So pedestrians could go back and forth. Cyclists could go up on the south side going up, which is the hardest part, and they could be on the other side going down, or they could cut over to John Street. That's also a possibility. Okay. So what I want to say is that I really support trying to get the money for this. The money exists. I know that it'd be 20% town and village, but I think this is the most hopeful moment that we've had in all the 35 years that I've been trying to get up and down. And that the other piece of it that Bill doesn't mention, but is, I think is very important, we have the safe routes to school. 5 kids on Huguenot Street, where I live, wanted it to be able to bike to the middle school in good weather. And they tried it for a while, but their parents were concerned about, you know, attempting to bike on Du Bois as good. And John Street going up is very, very steep for, you know, young kids and so on. So this is another piece of it that you could have a safe route to school. Okay. You could do that. And, you know, eventually South Butt Corners will be a safe route to the high school. So if we're looking, and I don't think this is, you know, some kind of utopian vision. I think it's really doable. It's possible.
Okay. So thank you, and we appreciate it. And as we move forward, hopefully, we will include you as when we get through when we start the planning. But we have to move on. So thanks. I know you do. Thank you. Yes, he can come up and speak also. Absolutely. So, but come up.
And just so everybody knows, the line is just east of Colonial Drive and the Village Garden Apartments.
Yeah. Well, when we're going to be discussing it, so
I just
thanks.
Point of clarification.
It's a little confusing, but yeah.
Hello, my name is Peter Kaufman. Thank you, Judy. So I'm also a member of the Bicycle Pedestrian Committee. I've been in New Paltz for now about 15 years, and probably on the New Paltz on the Bicycle Pedestrian Committee for pretty much since it started, its second version. And so this is the actual official statement from the New Paltz Bicycle Pedestrian Committee supporting this possible joint town-village effort to apply for the monies for improving Henry W. Du Bois. So I just want to read this. I know it was sent to the town and village, just to make it part of the public record. The New Paltz Bicycle and Pedestrian Committee is writing in support of the proposal to seek TAP funding for bicycle pedestrian improvements to Henry W. Du Bois. It will serve the community as well as a bicycle boulevard, one which honors the rights of all users, pedestrians, bicyclists, and motorists. It's a vision consonant with the statewide and countywide complete streets legislation and is worthy of widespread community support. The New Paltz community has long sought improvements to this busy artery, one which serves as a Main Street alternative for residents when Main Street itself is busy. In August 2011, the Southern Ulster Alliance published a report that envisioned Henry W. Du Bois as the final link between the Hudson Valley Rail Trail in Highland, which begins at the walkway over the Hudson, and the Wallkill Valley Rail Trail. At the time, there was hope that this report would be the catalyst for improving the road. Currently, Ulster County is planning a 120 to 130 mile network of bicycle pedestrian trails. When this network is finally finished, residents and visitors will be able to bike from the Shokan Reservoir all the way into Kingston, down Kingston into New Paltz, or across the Rosendale Trestle, then into New Paltz, and then basically through Lloyd, over to the walkway over the Hudson, into trails and paths in Dutchess County. I mean, if you're not familiar with this, it's an incredibly, it's just a phenomenal initiative that's underway. And there are very few places in the country, maybe even in the world, that have that type of trail system. And just think that you can bike from Hopewell Junction all the way up to Ashokan and pretty much be on trails that are car-free. I mean, it's really, for someone like myself who's an avid cyclist and an avid walker, it's kind of mind-boggling to think that you would have that trail system right here in Hudson Valley. Really, the one missing link is Henry W. Du Bois. I mean, in terms of trying to get from our rail trail in New Paltz to the Highland Rail Trail, which hopefully, as I'll tell you in a second, is trying to be extended. So the town's efforts are basically trying to provide a safe and usable bicycle boulevard in Henry Du Bois, at the same time that New Paltz residents and visitors have a viable way to engage in non-motorized transportation, even for daily life, not just for recreation. This will be the final connection to the Ulster County Trail Network, as I said, going from Shokan all the way out down into Dutchess County. And if you haven't ridden the Dutchess County Trail from the walkway or visited it, you can now go from Highland all the way to Hopewell Junction. And I would encourage you all to check that out just to see the possibility of what a trail like that could do to a community. You know, and there's tons of research, urban studies research, about what bicycle and pedestrian trails add to communities, even if you're not a cyclist. So the Bike Ped Committee basically feels like this is, you know, an incredible endeavor worth supporting. We've discussed improvements on Henry Du Bois for years. This application is really a wonderful opportunity, and we implore both the town and the village to work together to see that this proposal comes to fruition.
Great, thank you. So at some point, we will get to it on the agenda tonight. Is there any more public comment, or we can get right into the agenda? Okay, so I guess what we're going to do first is RUPCO had called and reached out to do a presentation. Mike Darcy, who's the outreach coordinator for Green Jobs, Green New York, had asked if he could come speak to us about energy-efficient homes and buildings, and so we thought it would be a good thing to do it together with the joint town and village board, since we're sort of all on the page, same page, and it would save him 2 trips. So, and we're going to do the same thing with Riverkeeper at our next joint town village meeting. So with that, I'll turn it over to Mike Darcy.
Hi, everybody.
Do you need us to turn out the lights, or?
I don't know. We'll see how it looks.
Okay.
May have to turn maybe one down.
Yep, we need to, according to the, Okay. Okay, good. Okay, doke. Can you just grab the microphone if you're going to be over there working?
I'm going to go right back.
Okay.
All right. So I'm Mike Darcy. I work at RUPCO. I'm an outreach coordinator for Delaware and Sullivan County, but I'm also a BPI certified contractor, and I'm the regional energy coach for a couple of NYSERDA programs. Michael Courtney was going to be with me tonight. He is the outreach coordinator for Ulster County, but his wife is sick, and he has a 2-year-old, so he's home with this 2-year-old, taking care of her. And so I brought my wife. Everybody say hi to Connie. She'll keep us company. So first of all, I want to thank you guys for having me. We're doing a huge outreach effort for municipalities within the Mid-Hudson region. We are covering the 10 counties within the Mid-Hudson Valley, so from Delaware and Greene down to Westchester. And we just want to acknowledge both the town and the village for allowing me to come. Many of you know RUPCO as a consortium, but for home building. We're a housing organization. But what we do for NYSERDA is we are a not-for-profit agency that is called a CBO, a constituency-based organization. And we are an independent contractor for the New York State Energy Research and Development Authority, NYSERDA. NYSERDA was established in 1975, and it's tasked with tackling tasks to create a better environment to live in, as well as the state's energy consumption. It's really all there is to it. I know we have a very short time, and a lot of what we're going to go through, I'm going to burn through really quickly. This is brought to fruition by the Green Jobs, Green New York Act, which is a state legislation that was passed in 2009, chaired by a local legislator right here in the Hudson Valley. It's to reduce energy consumption, reduce greenhouse gas emissions, and support sustainable community development, as well as create green job opportunities. What I mean by that is, if we make contractors busier, we can help make them busy enough to hire local contractors or veterans. BPI will reimburse the GI Bill for 100% of the cost of getting BPI certified to do this sort of work. That's super important. The programs that we're talking about are the Home Performance with Energy Star program. In front of you, you have a package that I gave you. The first page in that package talks about the Home Performance with Energy Star program. The next page is the Assisted Home Performance, and lastly, we talk about the Empower. I'll get into more details about that, but what they overall say is it provides a free or reduced cost energy audit for the state of New York. So 92% of the state qualifies for the free part. When we're talking about that here in Ulster County, it's $174,800. If your house combined is under $174,000, you get a free energy audit from the state. It's like taking your house to a physical. It's really worth it. You can save $700 on your energy bills. The reason why I got into this, I started the Neighborhood Watch program in Kingston. I'm a Marine, I'm a volunteer firefighter, and I tend to do things that help people. I'm not a sales guy. I don't work at a car salesman or a furniture lot. I seriously got into this so that I could help people decide whether or not to help them make that decision on paying their Central Hudson bill or buying new shoes for their kids for the first day of school. This is why I do this. It's important. Program eligibility, 1 to 4 residential, 1 to 4 unit residential properties, can't be more than 4. All heating types, and when they say all, even a candle underneath a clay pot heating a small room. All of them. And shockingly, structures must be within New York State. I know it's a little bit odd, but. So we're talking about Ulster County again with $147,800 to receive a free audit. And the audit application itself is in your package as well. It's a one-page application with a graph on the back. It's not that complicated. The hardest part about it is your utility usage information, which we can help you with, and that's what we do. Our responsibility is to help a customer and be an advocate for them. So we have access to the Central Hudson database that shows us what your usage was for 3 years. So we can help you with that, as well as your primary fuel oil, primary oil heating source, and secondary, whether that's propane or oil. And of course, you'd be surprised how many people forget to sign it. So remember, sign the application. It makes my life a lot easier. Home performance, what is it? It's taking your house to the doctor. It is talking about energy efficiency from leaking air to poor insulation to the efficiency of your combustion appliances. Finding air leaks. So combustion safety, finding air leaks, like appliances, these are all things that we look at when we do a home performance energy audit. But there's also much more than that. Health and safety, comfort, durability, and environmental benefits. So health and safety. I had gotten certified to do this work, and I sort of cheated when I got my certification. I had the field exam done in my house. So I got a free energy audit out of it by doing the field exam. The problem with that was that while doing a gas line leak detection, I found 5 leaks. I've lived in my house for 15 years. I've raised 3 kids there. Didn't smell it, never realized they were there. 5 leaks. I found that my water tank was overflowing with CO as well. The little plastic grommets that signify where hot and cold air come in, melted. Didn't really realize what that was all about until I started learning about building science. So it's more than just, whether or not you have good insulation. It's health and safety as well. And comfort. If you have, if you've ever been in a home where people cordon off parts of their home and just live in one part of it, where they put sheets up on, between doorways, we want to alleviate that. We want to be able to use your whole house. Programs and incentives. So we were talking about the home performance program and the assisted program. The assisted program qualifies people to pay, or can pay for people to have renovations done to their house, retrofits, and pay $5,000, up to $5,000 to get that done, or half the cost of the work. And an example of that for a family of 4 in New Paltz is $65,507. And then the Empower program is really for low-income, HEAP-eligible customers, and that program is free. And that will do air insulation, education, insulation, air sealing, and appliance replacement if they're over 10 years. And these are programs that were out there. Tell me you don't know people who make less than $50,000 here. The median income for New Paltz is $55,000. It's a lot of people that program could help. Low interest financing, really quick. On-bill recovery is a program, is a loan program that goes onto your Central Hudson bill. It creates sort of like an easement on your deed, and it's another line item on your bill. So if you get this audit done, and the audit says that if you do this work, you can save $75 a month, that's how much you finance for on your utility bill. So once the work is done, you're seeing that $75 in savings. You're paying off the loan amount on your Central Hudson bill for that $75. $75 a month. It's genius. It's the best loan option that there is out there for people to be able to do this. It makes sense. And I'm not going to get into it because it's going to take forever to talk about term, which is 5, 10, 15 years. The interest rate, 3.99%, 3.49 if you do it in automatic installments. I can talk to you later about all of those things. And we've gone so fast that I'm sure that there are a lot of questions, but a lot of the questions that we get can be simplified by, well, let's back up a little bit. In the back of your package is a draft version of a partnership pact resolution. And this is really why I'm here. I give you all this information to look it all over, but I really want you to look over the resolution as well. It creates a position within the town called the Energy Liaison, and that person would be a go-to person for Michael Courtney to come to and say, where in the town should I be concentrating my efforts? Where should we be putting on these events, seminars, or hosting educational symposiums? Where should we do that? Consider it. Look it over. If you have questions, ask me. I am not a legal eagle. I thought I did a pretty good job right. So, see how it goes. Will it cost the town anything? No.
Yeah.
Let me repeat that. This does not cost the town anything besides maybe 5 hours of time a month. A couple of phone calls between Michael Courtney and who you dictate to be the energy liaison. We'll provide marketing materials. We provide everything you need, including display cases for this. And how can REPCO help? There are many different ways. I look forward to having this conversation more. I know how crazy busy you guys are, so I'm going to end it with that. What I will do is encourage you to ask questions. Either allot me some time now for those questions, or ask me when you're over with your meeting, and I'll be here to answer those questions. But
Are you staying the whole meeting? You don't have to.
I'd like to answer your questions,
okay.
So if you want to allow some time now.
I just have one question, and we'll see if anybody else does. Would you like the town and village together to do an energy liaison for the community, or do you want the town?
I think you're going to work together because it seems like you have a great working relationship with Jason and yourself. Get it together between the two of you and have one energy liaison that can cover all those territories, because you really only need one.
Okay.
And it's a lot better than having somebody who's not from the community come in and try and say,
okay,
where am I going to go?
Okay.
What should I do?
So I don't know if anybody wants to do this tonight. We'll put it on for like another.
We'll just talk about it.
Okay, or we could talk about it, Jason. Okay, so I just want to know, and we'll follow up to figure out how to, and the boards could figure this out, but I just wanted to ask what you were looking for. Does anybody else have any questions that they want to ask?
You asked my question.
Anybody else?
Do me a favor and just repeat. There's, sorry, BPI, you were talking about veterans being able to get funding.
Correct. BPI stands for the Building Performance Institute. All the contractors that are home performance contractors that do the energy audits and the work within the house as far as retrofits go have to be certified by the Building Performance Institute. Okay. I'm certified as a building analyst and envelope professional.
Very good.
The GI Bill will be reimbursed 100% for the cost of getting these certifications from SUNY Ulster or the consortium schools right here in the Hudson Valley, Sullivan, Orange, all of them. And BPI reimburses 100% for the cost of the class as well as the exams.
Right.
So, and we work, I'm a proctor at SUNY Ulster, and so we have, we're always getting incentives from the state to lessen the cost of the class. Like a $1,000 class can cost less than $300 currently. So it's
yeah, that would be another good thing for us to work on in addition to this.
Sure.
Okay, great. Dan?
Well, first I wanted to thank you for coming out, by the way. Really appreciate you spending your time with us today and giving us a lot of great information. Just wanted to say, too, that other municipalities have done this as well with pretty good amount of success, too. So I'm really hoping that we do take this seriously and
Oh, no, we'll definitely, we'll just definitely act.
So far we have Cornwall, Fallsburg, the city of Port Jervis, Stamford, New York, Kingston, New York, and, you know, a special shout out to Dan. He's really put forth a lot of effort to get me here, and he's been in
Good, so then I make a motion to make Dan the energy liaison.
He already volunteered.
Would somebody like to second it?
Second.
All in favor?
Motion's so carried. Okay, we just passed your resolution. We have the resolution.
Dan, thank you for initiating this.
No, they gave us a we have a resolution. It's on the motion of Board Member Susan Zibit, seconded by Board Member Jason West. The following resolution was adopted by the town and village of New Paltz, whereas Repco's mission, blah, 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 and then we're appointing Dan Torres, and we resolved it, we passed it, and we will fix this tomorrow to add the village onto this, make it a joint agenda between the town and the village, and we'll put Dan's name in it.
Yeah, I do. Okay.
All in favor?
We already voted.
Second.
We already voted. Yes, we already made the motion and we already voted.
Well, congratulations.
We voted.
On the resolution. Yes, yes, yes.
We voted to make him.
Right, but we're doing the formal resolution now.
Right. That's why I said second.
We better look at it first.
Yes. No, well, it's pretty simple, but you don't want to do it?
I'd rather read it first.
Okay.
Just because.
Okay. Well, we'll reaffirm you, Dan, another time.
I'd like to read it, yeah.
We'll reaffirm it another time, but Dan, right now, we're all in favor of.
So
Good.
I withdraw my second.
Okay, so we're withdrawing the motion. Okay, but we are going to appoint Dan, but after we all read it. Okay? So great. Does anybody else have any other questions? Okay, thank you so much, and if you want to stay,
Thank you very
much. Thank you. So, Joe, as much as we love to have you, we'll do the annexation on another meeting when you don't have to sit through the whole meeting, and we could do the parades. It's already been run by you, so you could stay, but you also don't have to. So up to you. Sure. Okay, but I just want you to know that you did not have to stay. I don't know if there's good basketball on tonight or anything. I know it's tomorrow night. My husband's already told me. Okay, because of the, okay, Dan, can you go? Thanks, Rebecca. Okay, so we did the Repco. You want to, guys, because we do have the rescue squad people here, we have the bike ped people here. What do you guys want to do next?
Whatever's fastest.
Okay, I guess for the rescue squad,
Events are the fastest because we're going to move them.
Yes, but right now we're doing things that people are here in the audience for, so they can leave.
There are people in the audience for parades.
Oh, there is. Well, the town, we're going to, but Sally, we're going to move potentially the work that the committee did, but the actual authorization of the parades from a town perspective, that's on the town portion, because we have to talk about money. It's because it's not in our budget. We have to.
These are just the rules of parade.
This is the work that you guys did. But let's get to the parades in a second, because. Okay, we'll do parades. Let's do parades. Okay. Parades and events, we'll do that now. What was brought forward at a certain point in time was a recommendation by the parade committee for us to accept the parade recommendation and the events recommendation, which do have fees attached and contracts that have to be created. And so I had some concerns in terms of some of the extra work that I believe will be on the town's back in terms of us having to approve these contracts at every meeting, because we approve every contract, and so it's going to mean that the town board's going to have to approve every contract at the meeting, but that's okay, we'll deal with it. I don't know if your committee ever...
Handle it any way they want.
Right, no, I know that, but I understand that, and that's the problem, that it's the town board that's going to be handling it, but that's beside the point. I do know there was supposed to be the subcommittee getting back together. I don't know if you did.
We actually, Sally and I met.
Okay, can you take the...
So I would like to move on behalf of the town that we adopt the parade format that has been the result of the work done by the parade subcommittee, and that Sally and I and the rest of the committee will work to enhance and tweak the parade documents to try to reduce them in scope and size after we adopt the resolution. So we'll do that in the near future. But I'd like to move to adopt that in place.
Sally, there's a motion on the table for the town board.
Well, so, just, I'll second it.
We have a parade policy that we basically submitted to both boards. And I'm moving on behalf of the town to adopt the parade policy on behalf of the town board.
I'll second it for purposes of discussion. Are you do you know what there was a subcommittee that had been created. They worked on the whole contract and whatever. I had some issues with it because it means a contract that has to be entered into for every parade, which means that it has to all come back to the town board for us to act. So I wasn't really that happy about it, but at this point, it's so complicated and it's so problematic for parades, and we have all these parades that are outstanding, and it's just time to sort of bite the bullet, try to do it. There's some fees attached. We'll deal with that, and let's just move forward and try it out for a little while.
Moving the whole package part
Yes.
and events.
Yes.
I'll make
Dan?
a motion for the village.
I'll second that.
For purposes of discussion, okay, Dan?
Just,
No, to vote on it.
Well, Dan didn't,
just have a quick question. So the parades that have already submitted their forms, where do they now fall in us potentially adopting a new?
that's going to be, the village already did their portion and approved a bunch.
Okay.
We have a lot of costs that are incurred with these because of the police. It's not in our budget, but we will, during our town board portion of the meeting, talk about these particular parades, because we're going to have to figure out, A, if we're going to approve them, and then where we're going to get the money to pay for them, because we do not have the money in the budget. So, but that's not for us to do with the village, that's for us to do on our own. So we'll do that at the town board portion. So, Kevin, you guys are going to get together and and draft up the contract, because
What Kevin and I are planning to do, and which Kevin has been kept rather busy by the town board, so we have not gotten to the tweaking that we would like to make things simpler for the town board in terms, since you supply the safety aspect of parades. So what we're asking, and you're recommending, is that we vote on all three packages, which you have had for almost a year now, and then Kevin and I promise we will get back, refine it in a way that we think will be more workable. Events and parks don't have the problem that the parades have. And then we'll bring that back too, but it would be very good to have policies in place. The other thing that I would ask the town board to consider is that these three policies will not be effective until June 1st. Those parades which have been applied for be approved, and that since we are so delayed, that effective June 1st, and we will try and get the tweaking back to you by then, these will go into effect. Yes?
I'll accept that amendment on the town side, effective June 1st. And then we'll deal what we have to do on the town portion.
So amended on the village side. All right. Are you all right with that?
I accept.
wait, just for procedure, we moved, Kevin, you moved it, and Dan, you seconded it, I think, right? And so...
You seconded it.
I seconded it. So for an amendment, if we're going to do an amendment, we have to do them individually. So, Kevin...
And that, just to be clear, that's for a parade that will take place post-June 1st, 2014.
Right.
Okay.
So then I have a question too. Do we currently have any applications for parades?
Yes, we do, and yes, we do. We have a couple that we have to...
No,
We have to deal with that later because we don't have money in our budget for the parades that are in front of us, and how we decide to handle it is a town board discussion that is on the town board portion of the agenda. So I accept Kevin's amendment. All in favor from the town?
Aye.
I thought this was for discussion.
Okay, well, we're making an amendment, we're adopting the amendment for discussion. Okay, I seconded it for discussion purposes. Go ahead, Jean. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, we don't have to vote, because I realize you want to still discuss.
Okay, so if I follow you, Kevin, you're okay with the events and the park policies, but you guys want to tweak the parade policy?
After we adopt it, yes, we want to tweak. It needs to be tweaked a little bit more.
Okay.
But we need a set of policies in place because of what's happening right now in terms of the backup.
Can I just jump in? You're actually not really necessarily tweaking the policy per se? You're going to draft a contract that will have the
Well,
tweaking?
It's,
We don't need to get into the semantics of it.
we're trying
Well, no, because
to
they have to develop a contract
streamline,
also.
we're
We're not
trying to
passing that tonight.
streamline the process and develop a form of contract that will be very simple for everybody to look at and sign. And we'll pass it by Joe Moriello before we actually approve it.
So my thing is, why wouldn't you want to adopt the events and the park use policies, but hold off on the parades when we've been sitting on it for a year and tweaking it all along? I'm just
Do you know
asking.
how hard it is
Sure.
to tweak
Sure you
things in
can.
this town between the town and the village? Let's adopt something we have in place already.
Satisfied with what we did, and we were very satisfied after legal review to recommend it to the two boards. Some concerns have been raised that Kevin and I are willing to go back and try and address. But we're very satisfied with the work that we all did, okay? So we are in the parade, and if you may recall, maybe Jean, you were sick. When this came up, the parade committee said, please, let's get this done, because we are going to be coming into the parade season and with all of these requests. Well, unfortunately, we didn't get it done, and what we're trying to do is parks are going to be asked to be used, events are going to occur that involve both the village and the town, and parades are going to occur. Right now, the town has a parade policy, if you will, that the parade committee did not feel was satisfactory, and you have a set rate that you apply to parades. That is still in effect. Okay, that's why we're asking until June 1st, because parades have already been requested, have been, if you will, gone through the mill by the town. The village does not approve safety and traffic control. That is the town's prerogative. And it's how this all started to begin with, because things were so confused. So what we're asking you to do is approve the committee's recommendations, and with that approval, Kevin and I are making the promise that we will try and review the parades to make it simpler for the town.
Can let me just add something, Jean, that really was missing. In the proposal for the parade, there's a contract, okay, that the town board will be approving. There is no contract that has been written up. Okay,
That's not my problem.
I know that, but I'm saying there's no contract. So I had an issue with the fact that how could I approve something when I don't see the contract, and the town board's going to be the one who has to do the contract, and we're going to have to bring it back all the time. They had made a promise that, you know, after it got approved, they would meet, they would do a simplified contract, they'd bring it back to us. I still had an issue with the fact that the town board was going to have to approve contracts all the time, but quite frankly, this parade process is so cumbersome, difficult, problematic, that at this point, I'm willing to just adopt what was presented to move this forward, give them the opportunity to come back with a contract, which at that point, we could either say yes or no, but we have to do something, because right now, we have all these parade requests in front of us. The town board doesn't have money in the budget for them, because we said we were only going to be doing 2 parades. The village has already approved them, and everybody who wants these parades, who are doing the applications, are caught in the abyss of the town and the village. So I said to Sally, when she said to take it off the agenda, I said, no, keep it on the agenda, because let's just move it, let's approve it, and let's work out the details after, and then we'll deal with the contract if we like it or not, because it's really going to be our responsibility. But we've got parades on the table, and people need to know whether or not they're going to have a parade, and so that's where we're at.
Let's not rain
I just have
on
one
the
last question
parades.
then. So this is a package deal, though? Your motion is events, parades, and park use? Okay, I just wanted to verify.
Okay,
Let's
so we have a motion and a second for both the village and the board. So from the town's perspective, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, okay, all,
Indeed.
okay, so the town passed it?
You understand this is effective June 1st.
No, I understand that. Okay, so Roseanne, you got the vote, right? Okay, so,
Could I ask what it is about the rules of the road?
Did the village vote?
we're not,
Yes, we voted.
no, we voted. Okay,
Yes, we voted.
okay. We're not, the rules of the roads, we're not, we're,
Send Rosanna a recorded vote.
Aye.
we,
What is it that we're?
I'm going to do it. We're not discussing. I'm just handing something out. On behalf of the Bike Ped Committee, I am handing something out. The Bike Ped Committee had done this Community of New Paltz Rules of the Road Bicycle, a safety and recreation project for the New Paltz Bicycle and Pedestrian Committee. They did this last year. It was somewhat successful. We allocate money to the Bike Ped Committee. I don't know if the village does or not, but we allocate money to them. They had asked if they could reprint this up in a bigger format, make about 500 copies, I think it was 5,000 or something. They brought it to the school district, handed it out at the school district, and I was asked on behalf of the Bike Ped Committee to give a copy to each,
We have it hanging at Village Hall.
Okay, well, they were asking me to hand it out to each board member, so if you want it, you can have it, if not...
I am also on the email list,
Right.
yeah, I'm very
So-
familiar.
Ariana, I was asked to do it.
I
and am
appreciate
doing
it, and you were
okay?
following through.
Okay, so anybody on the board who would like one?
You can check it out on the town's Facebook page.
Anybody like one? We'll put one out there, we have one inside. If there's anybody in the audience who would like to have one, please feel free. But what?
I'll put it up somewhere.
It is up in Town Hall, but I was asked by Bill Weinstein to hand it out to the board tonight. I'm doing what I was asked. Can we move on?
Yes, please.
Thank you very much. No, we still have, you want to go back to?
Thank you, Bike Ped Committee.
Let's just.
Second.
Well, I haven't done other, but,
Rescue squad.
no, but,
Done everything but
So Sally made a motion to endorse the bicycle pedestrian rule, the bicycle rules of the road, and I
that
gave a
down by
second.
We already did that on
we did it for a town, so do it for the village if
Okay,
you want.
well, the village has not done it.
Why are we,
Okay. We're not, we don't have to.
we're accepting?
a second.
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion so carried. We did add to the agenda the bicycle, the Henry Du Bois bicycle, so,
Whatever, let's just move on.
okay, so, let's just do that next. As you know, everybody knows that, to give a little quick background, last week Gale Gallery sent out an email about a grant that became available, the TAP application, which is through the federal government, and it puts out a lot of money for bicycle safety. I sent you all the email. Let's see what it's.
Can I move it?
Yes.
No, you can't.
Transportation
No,
alternatives.
you can't move it because it's not that simple. I'm sorry. So anyway, so,
Apply for the grant.
no, but I have to just share something before you do it, okay?
go ahead.
Okay, I just have to share some technical stuff. We had, so Gail sent the email, Gail Gallery, about this grant, okay? I then forwarded to our grants writer to say, is this grant something we could apply for? He wrote back and said, yes, I've done this a dozen times. We set up a meeting immediately. It was Bill Weinstein, myself, the grants writer, Carol Connolly. We sat and we sort of talked about, where we could do this. We talked about the fairgrounds. We talked about Henry Du Bois. Hands down, it was decided Henry Du Bois was definitely the one we should go for. What we, basically, we can apply for $950,000. That's about the amount that we probably would get awarded. Anything more might get turned down because they like to sort of spread it all around. So we basically decided that we would move forward. We put it on the agenda tonight because, again, the town doesn't own all of Henry Du Bois, and so we wanted... No, let me just finish reading because there's some issues...
That might be helpful to go.
No, because there's some issues that I found out today. But I found out some issues today that I need to share.
I apologize for interrupting.
Okay, thanks. So anyway, we had decided that, I was going to bring it to the town board tonight. I wrote you guys all the things, so you guys knew. Okay, so the two things that I have to say is, A, only one municipality can apply, because I asked if we could do it jointly.
Right.
And this is not a shared services consolidated grant. Only one municipality could be the lead and do it, but it doesn't mean we can't work with the village and you can't support it and also help us. Okay, so that's the one thing I want to point out, but the second thing that's really important to point out, and Jason, you might want to listen to this because this is the most important thing. Okay. One of the things that we had thought, because it is a 20% cash match, so we're talking about $950,000, okay?
$90,000.
Is a cash match, okay? We thought, and we were told that there was a belief, and it still might be a possibility, that we could create this forced account, which means the work of Chris Marks, possibly Blues Work could be all billed to this, and then the cost of the asphalt and all that could all be billed to this. What I did was I got a thing from Tom Weiner today, who's from the DOT, who's probably one of the key people on this project, and he's also on our Transportation Implementation Committee. So he wrote, Supervisor Zimmet, I think it is good news that the town will pursue a TAP application for a bike ped path on Henry W. Du Bois Road. I just want to give you a heads up that the proposal to use town labor and materials as a match to the federal aid can be very difficult, as it requires a lot of documentation to show justification. I understand that the town will be in attendance at the TAP and federal aid workshop in Poughkeepsie, because I have to legally go to this workshop. I have to legally be there. I have to go to 2 workshops. I have to sign that I'm there in order for us to even to apply for this. So I had an important event that day that I had to cancel for me to go to this, unless you guys decide not to do this. Otherwise, I'm scheduled. I booked it. I recommend you ask about using a soft match so you can get the information you need to decide if you will pursue the approach or if you will need to provide a local funding for a hard match. So I need to put that out there so we all understand what we're getting into. I don't think we have to make any definitive decisions tonight. We can talk to the federal government when I'm at this event to try to find out if we can do this, and if we can, it's not to say we can't be diligent in our bookkeeping, so it shouldn't, be something we should be afraid of. So we can talk to them about how we can do this. This particular grant will get a lot of attention because, as was presented by the bike ped, this is we have the county executive is trying to do a massive rail trail. This was phase 5. We're moving it up to phase 1 because we're taking care of it. The governor has already given $2 million from the state towards this rail trail. So there's lots of things that I think will come to help support us, and I think there'll be a lot of initiative to make this happen. It's the village and town working together, hopefully, in a way. So I think we have a lot of opportunity to push this, but we just need to know going into this that at some point we might be asked to come up with 190. How we do that, I'm just putting that on the table. What I would like to see, here's the map. We'll have to work together to figure out what's the town portion, what's the village portion, how we make this work. Right, but we can figure that all out later. But and we can work together as a board, or myself and Jason can work on the details moving along, or the bike ped. You guys are on the bike ped, and I think Dan is on the bike ped. We'll work out the details, but. So I think for tonight, what we might want to do is just, the 2 boards endorse the concept to move forward on trying to pursue getting this grant and working out the details and figuring it out. We have to, I think it's got to be in, there's not a lot of time. I think it's due.
I'll make that motion to endorse the idea.
I'll make it from the village.
Who wants to second it from the town?
What's the deadline?
Okay, I think.
To amend it, that we also approve the preliminary engineering report, which you are going to have.
Right, which.
Well, I just think, instead of us jumping back and forth from board.
Thank you.
Maybe it'll go faster if we do this one at a time.
And I'm also wondering, I don't know if you can make the same motion because we can only apply, so maybe your motion would be to support.
To support?
Yes.
I'll make the motion to support.
Well, let's just stop before we make the motions, because we're all jumping ahead. Basically, we called Dave yesterday because we're going to have to have some preliminary, not full blown out, but preliminary engineering plans for the grant application. So we called Dave, and Dave said that it should not exceed $3,000 for the preliminary work that needs to be done. So whether the village wants to share, join in, do a portion, you want the town to pay for it. So before you make your motion, decide how you want to make your motion, and I'll throw it to the village first, because then the town will have to decide what we're doing.
I amended the main motion to say that the village will pay half.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so that Sally was to pay half of the engineering, the third 3,000? Thank you very much. Thank you very much. We really appreciate that. So would the board like to make a motion?
I'll move the same for the town.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion so carried.
And we authorize you to attend meetings that we have
Thank you. Okay, thank you.
Legally.
That was
Legally attended.
Thank you.
This is what you, for the bike, you might need that.
Thank you very much. I will take this to, okay, so,
Your handlebars.
okay.
What is the, I don't see the date.
I
on-
think for some reason I thought it was like June 5th or something like that, so we have to act pretty
Okay,
fast.
isn't that-
We
okay.
don't have a lot of time, which is why it's on the agenda tonight.
That literature there.
Which is why, when I wrote to you guys, as soon as I found out about this, I wrote it and said, can I get it on tonight's agenda? And you all jumped on it, so I think it's...
We're done with this one?
Yes, we are. Okay, so great. So, Bike Ped, we're on a roll, okay? So, moving right along.
May I ask
Sure.
a question of the village board, actually, in terms of our next agenda item, the rescue squad additional money? We had a discussion about this, and I recall there was, I believe there was a majority. Was there a majority who were the opinion that this belonged in the town's A fund and was not a village discussion, not a relevant village discussion?
I believe what we actually said was that there was supposed to be a subcommittee meeting that has not met, and Sally said she wanted that committee to convene and meet and discuss this.
That has not occurred.
Yeah. Well, that was a response because I said that I supported putting the money in the village budget.
And that's, I mean, the $145,000 is in the A fund.
Right.
This is the extra $50,000 that
would
they
be in the
wanted.
B fund.
We put the $25,000 in the B fund and asked you guys to come up with the extra 25, and you said you'd do it during the budget process, but you were going to meet ahead of time and have a subcommittee talk about it. So it's only on the agenda right now because you have your budget, and so therefore it was...
We never agreed to put it in the budget. We
No.
agreed to have a subcommittee.
Well, no, I understand
Right,
that, but we
right,
put
but
it in
we-
our budget in the B fund
Right.
to, you know,
That was
if,
done prior to us discussing. it.
because your budget's different and we...
Right, but there was a meeting here that you weren't at.
Ariana's
Yep.
got it right. Ariana's
There-
got it right. There was a joint meeting here at the town, and the rescue squad was in attendance, and they had asked us to give them additional funding. And at that meeting, we had decided that, yes, the town does do the original funding for the $145,000 or 100, whatever, and that this additional $50,000 for the time being, and this was fall, late
November.
fall, right.
This was November.
Okay, that it would be 25 and 25 for the time being until it was
Okay, so.
Sally's subcommittee.
I guess I have a different question then, which is.
No, the
Now there are-
joint boards appointed a subcommittee of 2 village board members and 2 town board members to review with the village and to discuss the merits of all of this. That subcommittee has yet to meet.
Who's on that subcommittee?
I'm on it, and Jean's on it.
I'm on it.
No, who's a
No,
board-
actually,
who's a town member?
the town
I
is
think it's me.
Kevin and Jeff, and on the village...
It's myself and Sally. And we have tried to get a meeting together.
Are we having this?
I'm happy to pick a date right now.
It's only on the agenda
Ted and
because your
Gina are
budget's about,
here.
because you're
We
going through the
can
budget process,
set
and we want to
a
make
meeting.
sure that somehow, some way it gets addressed before you adopt your budget.
Back and forth. And
So, go ahead.
We've gone back and forth through email too many times. Tomorrow?
Our budget has to be adopted by May 1st. So we've got between now and then to add in whatever.
Tomorrow after 1 o'clock?
What date?
Tomorrow after
Tomorrow after
1?
1?
That's fine with
Ted,
me.
is Ted still here? Ted, can you
about
meet
12?
tomorrow with the subcommittee, tomorrow at 1 o'clock?
Kevin,
Wait,
Riverkeeper
wait.
is having a water conference from noon till 4 tomorrow, and I'm signed up, and I don't know who is for the town.
How about tomorrow morning first thing?
I could do tomorrow morning first thing.
Can you
What do you-
guys...
8 o'clock?
Jeff, speak up.
I can do 8.
You could do 8 a.m. tomorrow?
I got a dead stop at like 9:30.
Okay.
I have a meeting with our engineer at 9:30.
It'll never get done.
Well, now,
I'm at our meeting. with
8 a.m., 8 a.m., 8 a.m., 8
I
a.m.
gotta drop that.
Okay, 8 a.m. tomorrow at the rescue squad? Okay. Okay, tomorrow, 8 a.m. at the rescue squad, the subcommittee will meet. Thank you very much. Let's move right on.
Whoa. At the rescue
8
squad?
o'clock tomorrow morning, rescue squad, subcommittee, and Ted.
Susan, may I take the
We're
lead?
supplying donuts and
Please.
coffee.
That's not fair.
Okay. Okay, I am going to, everybody, I am going to turn this portion of the conversation for Wilmerite annexation over to the mayor.
Well, is there any way
And-
though, before we, is there any way we have some parade people here we can do?
No, because the parade stuff is us. later.
Not that I'm
It's a
aware.
different meeting because it's, yeah. Okay, Jason, can you just take the microphone?
Upside down.
This is, I believe, just a pro forma, should be 30 seconds. Wilmerite approached me to have a meeting. They discussed the possibility of annexing to the village. I brought that proposal to the village board, who was not interested at all. So this is just a formality because we did agree to have any Park Point-related discussions at a joint meeting. So I don't know if we need to take action or just have each board vote that we're not interested in having this discussion with Wilmerite.
I think you should take formal action saying that
All right.
you're not going to enter into an agreement with Wilmerite, if that's what you want to do, but...
Didn't we do something?
No, I moved to do it, and they didn't want to do it until we had a joint board meeting.
Yeah, no,
I moved to reject.
I moved to talk about it tonight, and that's what we had.
How about this? I'll make this motion for the village then. I move that we don't even consider the issue while Park Point is considering a pilot, which will take it all away anyway.
I'd make it a little more specific, and Jason, I would need to reject the draft presented.
Whatever. I'll move that. I'll second that one. All in favor?
I want to talk about it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
For discussion.
For discussion purposes, Ariana?
Thank you. Before we're voting, I just think that it should be something that is a bigger conversation, and we should talk about, more generally speaking, what any of this means for our community, and the idea of a water and sewage treatment plant are being built, a second one being built, and the idea that there could be further expansion to south of the college. And I, for one, do not believe in urban sprawl, suburban sprawl, rather, and I do not think that we need to be able to, I don't think we should enable further building in that direction. I think that we have a village center, we have a downtown area, we have a footprint that is already on our community, and we should not be expanding that footprint. And that's why I am against the idea that they build their own sewage treatment plant. And I am not saying that I believe we should annex them into the village. I do not think that should happen, but I think
That's
that...
the only way they get municipal.
No, we have water districts. Right now, there are houses outside of the village.
No new connections can come without annexing to the village unless we change the village code. I wrote the law.
Well, then that's why I think we should have this conversation, because I am against the idea that we can build to the south of the college. I do not want to see more single-family houses go in there that are going to create a bigger impact on our school district. I just don't think that this is the way our community needs to go, and I want to talk about it.
Could I make a suggestion for that, Ariana?
Sure.
To unhitch that from Park Point specifically, because you're talking about bigger issues, a bigger vision. We're going to shortly be having public sessions on our joint
master plan. I know.
That is a perfect venue to bring up this conversation. Is at those meetings.
It is a perfect venue, but you know when it'll be too late? When they start construction on their new sewage treatment plant. That's when it's going to be too late.
Well,
that's why I want to have this conversation right now.
Well,
right this second?
Right now.
I object to that.
I think that is totally inappropriate because
It's why it's on the agenda.
No, it's...
No,
it's not.
No, it's not.
You asked for the draft that was sent to the village asking us to annex them. That is a totally different topic, in my opinion, than what you want to talk about, which is a community vision. I'm prepared to say that I do not wish to entertain, as a village trustee, any conversation with Wilma Wright, who is in conversation with the town of New Paltz, not the village of New Paltz, and for Wilma Wright to have, in the midst of their negotiations and reviews with the town, to have made the assumption that they could come to the village circumventing the town of New Paltz, I object to, and that is what I want to reject, and nothing more.
And I completely agree with that, and I think we all know how I feel about Wilmerite. I've made that very clear. But I do not, okay, I recognize that we are talking about this as a joint board because we made a commitment to do so, and that's why I had moved to put this on the agenda. But I also think that there's something larger at stake here.
There actually is, and it's a conversation we should have, because we're hopefully going to be getting a very big grant for Sewer 6, and we're going to be making some very serious decisions about creating a new sewer plant for the town, and for the town to be able to do the development on South Putt. That's part of our plan. We need to have, sewer and water that, and so it is a bigger discussion. However, I have to agree with Sally and Jason that for the purposes of the Wilmore annexation,
For tonight.
For right now, a proposal was given to the village. It was decided that,
I totally hear what you're saying, and I am going to vote for this.
Yeah,
for,
but when we get to the consolidated, when we get to the joint comprehensive master plan, we could try to discuss how we're going to move forward with water and sewer as a bigger vision, which I've wanted to have this conversation for a long time.
I'm happy to put this conversation in that agenda item.
Yes.
But I would like to talk about it tonight regardless.
We'll talk about it then, but right
Tom
now
has been raising his
right
hand.
now we're just doing Wilmerite. Go ahead.
Mike.
Mic check.
Let Mike do it. I believe that you're the only person who wants to do this. I would propose that the chairs recognize you for a brief period of time to make whatever speech you wish to make, so that we could move on to the resolution of the agenda, because I agree with the comments that have been made, that that is not truly relevant to this decision. But out of respect for you, I would be, I shan't say happy, but I shall say accepting of some brief period of time during which you get to make your speech.
To Tom, we already said that when we get to the joint comprehensive plan,
and
we'll
I kind of
discuss it,
said
because there's things
what
that I want to
wanted
say
to
about
say.
what she just said, and it is, and like, oh, you want her to make a speech about Wilmerite?
No speech, no individual speeches
Her
for
speech,
people. This is
it wasn't about Wilmerite, it was about the fact that of sewer and water.
Development.
Right.
Correct, development.
Yes, Jean.
Microphone.
And I already accepted that.
Yes, so
I already said I'm happy to talk about this during the joint comprehensive
Jason, you have a
plan.
motion, so you have a motion on the table.
I'm sorry, Tom, there's a motion on the floor that Sally made, has been seconded. Let's vote on that one first.
Call to question.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Motion to carry. Thank you very much. We're done with that one. Okay. What? Moriello Pool repair bills.
You voted with the village?
I just voted.
It's practice. You got to limber up the vocal cords. That's good.
I like it that you go with the majority.
Yeah, exactly.
You can always vote no. I mean, a little more power.
I'll vote with the town. You want to switch seats? All right.
Are you counting Dan's vote in the village vote?
Someone just heard.
Okay, Moriello Pool. We a while back, both boards voted for capital improvement to the pump at the Moriello Pool. The pump, remember, it was submerged. We had to move it above ground because of, and all this kind of stuff. We authorized a payment of up to $60,000, Chris? Up to $63,000, up to $63,000. Chris did do all the work. He has all the bills together. He actually saved the town and the village $5,000. So all we're asking for is we basically put all the bills together. We need to send them to Nancy, but I think Nancy needs a motion from you guys to authorize the payment back to the town.
We need the bills first.
No, you do have the bills. They're all,
I thought you
the
said
bills
you
are in the
were going to
packet, and the bills Nancy has.
The check is in the mail. We approved it last night.
Oh, you did?
Bills in claims.
Yeah.
Oh, you did?
Yes.
Okay, great, terrific. Then we don't have to. Next.
Joint comprehensive plan.
Okay.
But, you know, just
Oh, come on, Sally.
But I do think at some point, the town and village, not tonight, need to have a conversation on what a capital expenditure is.
Yes,
And what
yes.
a maintenance expenditure is, and we have never had that nice conversation.
We'll add it to the next joint meeting. How's that?
So
We'll set up a
I suggest
subcommittee.
that we have that conversation.
Okay.
at the next joint
Okay,
meeting.
but we all did agree that this was a capital, and it was the pump, and
This is,
I know, I know what, everything that happened, but that's, yes, thank you very much. Thank you, Village. Let's move on. Okay, now's the part for
What do we need to
Ariana.
do about the comprehensive plan tonight?
Well, basically, all we needed to do is two things. One is getting a subcommittee meeting, which seems to be problems with,
Well, you know what? Dan and I were at the subcommittee meeting. We knew that Tom couldn't make it, but there was, and right, but we all agreed on being there. And I thought you knew that we were meeting here at 5:30 last Thursday before your town board meeting. But we were supposed to invite the college, and because of the last minute nature of the emails and what time was able to be agreed upon, it was no way that the college was going to come. So Dan and I did meet.
good.
But since so since there was nobody else there, yeah, we basically had the
Did you vote on it?
youth caucus of New Paltz.
No vote?
the youth caucus. Very good. Okay, Tom, take your, the mic, Tom.
I had a meeting with Kurt Janesville yesterday.
Oh, good.
And I think each of you will have received a very brief message from him today.
It came shortly before our meeting, yeah.
Just outlining what he is about to do. I have, in conversation with Susan and Jeff, I've agreed to take responsibility for getting the four of us and Kurt, and if possible, someone from the college. The college has now been invited to participate, and I will do that before the end of next week. So within a week, I will have a meeting. If I have to drag some person or persons to that meeting, we will have a meeting of this.
Get Dan's help, he's strong.
That was, yeah, he's
Strapping.
stronger than I am, for sure. And he can bear the cold better than I. But we will have this meeting within the next week.
Okay, great. Terrific. Okay.
Okay, the meetings also need to be noticed, if you all recall that we agreed on that. And also, part of having the meetings noticed is that all of both board members are made aware of when the meetings are, so as many of us are able to show up as.
Sorry, I didn't realize that.
Okay.
Well,
Okay,
I
so just,
promise
yeah.
not to have a secret meeting.
Dan, if you were less busy voting, maybe you'd be paying more.
I myself don't care whether it's noticed. I'd just like you to have the meeting.
Okay, but the point is though that Rebecca's right. When we made the motion was made that, you know, the subcommittee would get together, they would notice it, the public would know about it, anybody could come, and so Rebecca's just reminding us of our obligation.
No, I appreciate
so
that.
thank you, and Tom, you'll take
Yes, and I will work with Katie.
Okay.
And who's the
No,
We need to.
go ahead. Sure,
Susan,
go
do
ahead.
you wish to appoint Tom as the chair of the subcommittee?
Well, it's up to both boards. I mean, if
So move.
I'll second.
All in favor?
So moved on behalf of the town.
all in favor? Motion so carried. Thank you, Tom. Congratulations.
okay,
So now
right,
it's-
okay, really?
Now it's Sally's turn.
I think that 5:19 on the day of the meeting is a little late to send the report to me. 5:19 today.
Yeah, that's okay. It's not really, it's,
Kurt's
yes.
email was.
So we're not
came
gonna
very
talk
late
about
for the
it
meeting,
No, we're
tonight.
not.
she's saying.
No.
No,
No.
we're done with that. We're moving on to the next one.
No.
That's for April? Okay.
Time out, time out.
Okay.
We're not done, though, only because this is a part that we promised Ariana that we would have the conversation about
I can't
sewer and
have a
water.
conversation with you.
So, you know what?
Read the email.
Wait, when did
No,
we
no, we're not
promise
having a
that?
conversation
No, I
about,
didn't either.
we're not having a conversation about the email that Kurt sent at 5 o'clock. We're done. We have a subcommittee, they're going to meet, no other conversation on that. We just promised Ariana we would talk about sewer and water.
No, we didn't. Everyone said they didn't want to talk about that tonight.
No, we said we would talk about it in
We
here.
said we'd talk about it during the joint,
Okay.
under joint
But-
I
comprehensive
thought you meant
planning.
the next joint meeting. I apologize.
Okay, but, and I do think it is a bigger issue, and I think it's a pretty comprehensive conversation, and I don't know if we have a lot of time to do it tonight, but we can touch on it quickly.
All right. Well, I mean, I'm kind of feeling like we should not have moved so quickly through the Wilmerite annexation piece of this, just because now it's any leverage that we had is out of our hands. You know, and I think in terms of them building their own sewage treatment plant and searching for their own water, we just said, okay, go ahead. You know, and yeah, unless we're gonna go through everything and change our village code and allow them to become a water and sewer district and have them pay for all our upgrades, and not for the $1 million that they claimed it would cost, but for significantly more money, because it's going to cost significantly more money. But I think, you know, we want to concentrate our development in a certain area. And I think, you know, if you're talking about, you know, Sewer 6 and developing South Putt, and I think if we're doing a joint comprehensive plan, we shouldn't be doing any of that without having the plan first. What is our comprehensive plan? Isn't the point of the comprehensive plan so that we plan together and not, you know, we did this B3 rezoning thing to have more commercial development there, and so we're going to have commercial development on Route 32 North and on South Putt. Like, you know, I just don't know where. You know, where are we going, and who's coming here doing all this development that our community has to sustain it? You know, I just don't know. I don't see that. I think, you know, we have to accept that we're not going to have IBM come in here or something like that and do some large, have a large industry that's going to employ a lot of people. The college is doing that for us, and we might have some other, I mean, who knows what's going to happen with Startup New York. We might have some other small industries coming in here, 3D printing or whatnot, that to provide some jobs, but I don't really see it being this large-scale development. So I think, and if it is, I'm not opposed to that. I just think we need to work on planning it together, and I think we should expand what we already have as opposed to build additional sewage systems that are going to allow for sprawl.
So let me just, okay, go ahead, Jay.
I think it's a fascinating conversation. I agree with every word that's come out of your mouth, but I feel it's inappropriate to have it tonight, because I'd like to have the conversation, but I'd like to have it prepared. I'd like to have it having thought about it a little bit. I'd like to have it in a venue that's not 9 o'clock.
And we still have a town board meeting.
We still have a town board meeting, and there's people waiting in the audience for things. And
yes, like Kathy, because she's got to go, so we got to.
And since we've just set up a structure to have this exact conversation with the community as a whole, rather than just the few on the joint board. So I'm not knocking what you're saying. I'm just saying, can we talk about it another night?
I just don't. I mean, I feel like we put things off. When do we talk about it?
Okay, so let me just. I'm going to just really quickly, and we'll wrap it up. Okay, but the door with Wilmerite. By you taking the action that you took tonight, does not close any door whatsoever or leverage. Okay, right now, our planning board for the moment is hopefully, you know.
I am well aware of what the planning board is doing.
So you know what the planning board's doing. So for the moment, until it's decided what happens with the pilot, there is no potential project. But we don't know until the planning board takes action. If indeed they're going to come back to the community without a pilot, if that's what the planning board adopts, and they have to do water and sewer, they still have to come to the town. They have to talk to the town. We have to adopt the plan. At that point, we could always then say, well, we want to have conversations with the village to see how to make this work if it becomes a real plan and a real project. But now it's the town and the village together, working together as a team to say what do we want or not want, as opposed to them usurping, you know, and going behind everybody's back and going to the village.
Right, which we all know how I feel about that.
Okay, so we didn't take, you didn't jump the gun by taking action. You actually said to them, this is not the way we operate as a community.
Right.
Okay, and so therefore, if the project should move forward because they decide to pay full taxation, and we'll see what happens with that, then a conversation about water and sewer has to happen, and that conversation will happen at the appropriate time, and we'll try to do that together.
Okay.
In terms of moving forward, though, with water and sewer, that's another conversation. We do have projects right now. You have CVS that's looking to come in.
I know.
You have another project that's looking to come in, you know, the Wildberry
Hampton Inn,
Lodge. You have,
Wildberry Lodge,
that are going to have to do their own water and sewer on site for the moment. You've got a project that wanted to come in behind 87 Motel, but they're not doing it because they don't have. No, I don't say it, but I'm just saying they don't have access to water and sewer. So the town, in a sense, is having projects coming in, doing their own septic. So we have to address how we're going to accommodate sewer and water for them through the town. And so, but it should be a conversation, and we should have had it a long time ago. We should be solving it together. But unfortunately, we all.
And I think that with what with the search, the water search that we're collaboratively doing, we are really poised to be able to work together on this issue. So, I mean, maybe we can just make sure we put this on our next joint agenda.
Yes.
And we
we might have to have a conversation sooner than later too, because we might be getting a Sewer 6 grant, but we'll have a conversation later.
When is?
We're hoping. That's the next, I mean, we're hoping to hear about an award, but we'll see. It could be anywhere from April to November.
Okay.
Okay.
So are we still doing the fourth meeting of the month? So you'll be at our meeting next month,
Yes.
the fourth Wednesday?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Just wanted to confirm that.
Okay. So yes, are you inviting us to your fourth? Yes, we are. Yes, yes. Okay, so that's it. We don't have to talk anymore about the comprehensive plan?
No, just
Okay, so now
Sally's,
Sally consolidation.
Sally's
Okay.
thing.
And then we
yeah.
got to do, yeah.
The-
Segue nice, because I'm going to ask us to do something in May that's a little earlier than the fourth week of the month. If you all recall, and I'll give you the background sheets, and then I'll give you a copy of our secretary's minutes, where the actual motion appears. The Efficiency Committee was asked in August of this past year to reconvene in light of everything that went on since we made our original recommendation. A lot happened in New York State, and we were not able, the joint boards were not able to achieve what we had hoped we might be able to achieve. So, in light of all the misinterpretations, new interpretations by the state of New York, the joint boards on August 15th asked the Efficiency Committee to reconvene and determine what the committee called Plan B in our report, which is really consolidation of the town-village operating as a town, whether that was a viable alternative to the committee's original recommendation of a town-wide village operating primarily as a village, which the state interpreted we couldn't do under Article 17A. So, we had been meeting since September 16th, and on March 24th, the committee met and proposes the following recommendation to the joint boards.
Excuse me,
The
Sally.
Government Efficiency and Effectiveness
I'm part.
Committee.
Excuse me, Sally. Just because there was the disparity between yours and Steve's
I'm
versions.
reading Steve's.
Okay, I just wanted to know which one you were reading.
Weren't listening. I said I was giving a background,
I
and
apologize.
then I will read the actual motion from the minutes.
I apologize.
But Sally, before you proceed, though, can I just, once again, I keep saying this all the time, where you say the state interpreted is not doable, allowable under Article 17A, it was not that it was not doable or allowable, it's just the two boards chose not to go down this path because of the way it does not allow both communities to vote. So you didn't spend all this time working on something that was not allowed and quote illegal. You can do a townwide village, it's just that we chose not to do it because we can't have the entire community vote. So I just keep trying to...
Everybody can interpret it differently.
Okay. Okay.
But the fact is that either the village would have had to dissolve or the town would
Yes, we
have
know,
to
I understand that.
annex.
I know that.
That is not what Article 17A, when it was originally
Okay.
proposed,
Go ahead.
said. So,
Go ahead.
being that as it is, we are recommending the Government Efficiency and Effectiveness Committee has investigated Plan B, a consolidated town with the village dissolved, and determined it to be legally viable. There are, however, a number of open questions regarding the structure of the new surviving municipality. Foremost among them is the matter of the legal requirement of a fire district. It is recommended by the committee that the town and village boards undertake a presentation by the New Paltz Fire Department and its legal counsel on this topic and make a decision in a timely fashion. The fire department and fire company made up of Chief Kevin McGuire and Bill Du Bois, who is with us this evening and is president of the fire company, have agreed that this is a major topic for this community to understand. And before we can proceed further, we think we really need to address an issue that was raised with the town and village 5 years ago, asking for consideration of a fire district
Or a fire protection district.
on background.
That's what you have right now.
Well, we have it, you don't.
So
We don't need.
we're recommending that they are willing to come in May, I would ask that we set a special meeting on a Wednesday or Thursday that is not a board meeting night, that we advertise it strenuously so that the community can come and be informed as well as we can be informed, because there are a lot of technicalities on this, and I think past discussions on any topic by these two boards shows that we really need sometimes to just sit back and listen and understand before we try and make decisions. So, Bill, do you want to speak on this at all?
If you do, you
I mean, I spoke to, we had me and Susan and I and the chief last Tuesday, about 2 hours. I didn't make the efficiency committee meeting, but speaking to you yesterday, or Tuesday, I've spoken to our attorney, Terry Hannigan. I don't know if I was on the board. I think Jeff was, I know if Jason was. He came down about 5 years ago, right? Addressed the community, both boards did not act on it, okay? We will entertain him to come down again, like Sally said, on Wednesday or Thursday, possibly at the community room. We could set that up so that the public should be there, so if they'll be invited, so we can see what is the best thing. I know, Susan, we spoke last week about a fire protection district, and speaking to Terry yesterday, he said it'll never work, it'll end up being a fire district.
But we can save that for the presentation, so.
So, and I spoke to...
Right, let's not discuss and speculate.
Right, right.
But that's what we're proposing to do.
I think we need a lot more, because, yes, I was on the board. It was actually, let's see, 9/13/2010. We discussed this as a community at a meeting, and there was enough public interest, we held it at the high school. So first of all, holding it up in the community center.
It won't hold them. It won't hold the amount of people that'll show up.
Which?
The community center.
That's what I was about to say, but you rudely interrupted me again.
I'm
You know,
sorry.
That's how it goes here. Is
The
that
high
how we're
school,
rolling
right?
tonight? Yeah, exactly.
I'm sorry.
I know, that's why I love you so much.
Yeah.
It was held at the high school last time. You got it, you have no choice.
You need a bigger room.
It needs to be held at the high school. A lot of information needs to be get out. You can agree, disagree. If someone wants to go and pull back the tape, I see we have Don Kerr here. He may be able to help us find the tape on it. There was substantial community opposition to it at that time. So I think before we start engaging legal counsel, we need to get a lot more information on it. We need to get the information out, because it came down to, the opposition was, and anything you look up on it, you're adding a layer of government to our community. And the whole point of efficiency is trying not to add another layer of government to our community. We have a system that's been working for well over 100 years, and if I am dumb enough to ask, I'll ask Dan Torres, and he'll probably tell me the exact year the fire company was founded. Kenny?
Maybe they just had their 150th anniversary.
There you see, I told you. Look at that, I told you.
1861.
Look at that, 1861, and so it's been with since so since 1861. Okay, I am just making a recommendation that it's going to be a lot larger of an event that could possibly be held in the community center, and we. Okay.
Wait a second.
Choose the year.
Okay, Rebecca wants to speak, please.
I like the idea of having a big room, the high school, but if we could find something that's more centrally located for those of us who walk.
Maybe the middle school.
Middle school.
Middle school.
OCs is a possibility, but also the college has been good with opening their rooms.
The high school district, we have to pay a fee to use it, don't we? Do we have to pay a fee to use
Depends
it?
on what time we plan on getting out of there.
Do you think there's a...
Well,
They have a new policy.
We could also do it at the college.
And the college doesn't charge?
I mean, it depends on how you organize
Okay,
it.
we probably won't have to...
Do they know who we are?
the community center wouldn't be able to hold everything.
Right.
I think that's what we need to plan.
We'll get it.
And-
Okay, we'll get a professional.
Why don't we figure,
Book the room.
What is the date? Jason, do you have a calendar? What is the first Wednesday?
did you get that date from Terry that when he could come?
It's a great idea.
Of May?
Anytime? Okay,
Jason, can we
okay.
combine this with the regatta, maybe? Maybe we could have like a regatta.
Okay, shh.
Okay. Do you
Guys.
prefer Wednesday the 7th or Thursday the 8th?
Of April
Wait, to have a
Of
meeting?
May.
Of what year?
this year.
This year.
Absolutely not, no.
Yes.
No,
Well,
absolutely not.
Jeff, let me just explain what's being recommended, okay?
The 7th
fire-
or the
Listen,
8th?
I
No,
just
no,
listened to it.
no, wait a second. I just want to make sure that you understand. The fire department is paying for their attorney to come down to do a presentation to this community on a fire district. So it's no cost to us.
May
Anyway.
decide on Wednesday or Thursday.
Doesn't matter.
I like Kevin's idea.
Those 2 days, as many of you know,
Skittles, candy.
I work at BOCES, and all of us are going to be driving around the county, picking up tests, scoring tests, all the standard
Oh.
tests that get processed through
Okay.
the state. The following,
Yeah, pick a different date.
yeah, the 7th and the 8th are not
Okay.
good for me. I really want to be there.
So, but
But then
The
we
following
both have
Thursday, the
board meetings is
15th?
the
No,
problem.
we both had board meetings.
I like Kevin's idea, which is to do it as a, I mean, is this realistic? To do this in Hasbrook Park, to have it be a fundraiser for the fire department as well, and have people, no,
wait, we're not allowed to do fundraisers.
They got to do a,
I like your
they
idea,
have to do
and
a
get the
presentation.
community
Come
to
on,
come
guys,
out.
we really have to start to focus, okay? We have a long night.
I like
This
your
is a
idea.
presentation to the community about the reality of whether we want to do a
his
fire
idea.
district. We cannot do that at a fundraiser with hot dogs and hamburgers. It's just, unless you want to do it that way. Okay, so the fire department doesn't want to
Okay,
do it
well,
that way.
if
They're
they
paying.
don't, then that's fine.
Okay, they're paying for the person to come down. So
I like
let's just pick a
Kevin's
date
idea.
so we can invite them. Can it work the next, you can't do
Here
next.
is the problem with coming down and getting a presentation, is you're going to get the presentation without having the facts completely about it. You're getting a presentation from an attorney that specializes in creating fire districts, period. You're going to have a presentation from someone giving you one side of it. If you guys want to do it, please feel free. Have them come down, have them give the speech, have them give them the sales pitch. I will be more than happy to listen, as long as it's not on the 19th.
All right,
That's-
we will make sure it's not on the 19th.
That's my birthday, so I want to make sure, you know.
Rebecca, is Tuesday the 6th okay for you?
Yeah, that should
All
be
right,
fine.
let's plan on Tuesday the 6th at the community center. And
Assuming it's okay, open, I have to,
Isn't who we
There,
started this?
there is a planning board meeting. I don't know if that matters.
May 6th.
A village planning board meeting.
Well, they're just stealing you away.
No, I'm not,
I don't
well,
think
no,
that-
I'm not the liaison, Thomas.
There's a meeting every single night, so you're right. May 6th, tentatively at the
No,
community center, we have to check it's available. If not, we'll find another place. So
There's
let's
no
just-
meeting on Monday, May 5th, that I know of, and I have both town and village meetings in my calendar.
that's fine with me.
But I don't think he said he can only come down Wednesday or Thursday, right?
I thought Wednesday and Thursday.
No, I think that's what you asked for.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
I'll
so,
talk to Terry.
okay, so as of now, we're going to say May 5th. We're going to tentatively schedule it for May 5th.
Yeah, I thought it
Now,
was
Monday, Ariana is saying May,
Monday,
no.
May 5th.
no, May 6th.
Monday,
That's our fire meeting.
No. Well, your fire meeting can come, you can't,
No, I said this meeting for too long, so.
They're a monthly meeting.
Did you get my text?
okay. Okay,
So
May
Tuesday the
6th.
6th.
Tuesday the 6th.
Oh, I sent it to
Okay, guys?
I sent it to you quite a while.
Okay,
I think it's more important to have a board member with
yes.
us than
Okay.
to worry about other groups.
Okay, so let's, I make a motion on behalf of the town board so everybody can have their chance to voice their opinion. I make a motion on behalf of the town board to support inviting the lawyer for the fire department to come down to do a presentation to our community on fire districts and fire protection districts in conjunction with the village board. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
What time are we planning?
You want to say 7 o'clock?
That hours ago.
Okay, all in favor from the town?
Are we passing a resolution?
No, all we're doing is
Setting the
authorizing,
meeting.
Okay, that's fine. Thank
all in
No,
favor?
I'll start with a no.
Well, I knew what you were going to do now, that's why I'm doing the vote, okay? Everybody else?
Keep it rolling, keep it rolling.
Aye.
Jean?
I will move.
Kevin? Kevin?
Kevin?
Aye, Kevin's aye,
said
motion
no, I
so
believe.
carried, okay?
I will move,
I vote aye.
Thank you, Kevin.
I will move the same motion on behalf of the village.
I'll second.
But I would like to suggest that we also give our fire department and our fire company an opportunity to speak on the topic
Sure.
after Terry's done.
Absolutely.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion so carried.
To adjourn the village board?
Are we done?
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion so carried. Okay,
Thank you, Mayor.
For the next joint village meeting.
I gotta do, Kath, would you mind sitting for just 2 minutes so we could do something real fast?
He was so happy.
Okay, do I have a motion to open up the town portion of the meeting?
It already is. Well,
No, we closed it.
So I'll make a motion to open the town's portion of the meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, I'd like to, it's really late, I told Kathy to come at 7:30, I promised her we were going to do her first, but unfortunately, everybody wanted to move the town village portion, so I would just like you guys to stay for 2 minutes while we invite Kathy Puglisi up. We put money into our budget, $6,000 into our budget to hire a senior coordinator to be there for seniors, to help them navigate the morass of, why are you looking at me like what are you looking at me?
You have to finish talking,
Okay.
I don't know what you're talking about.
We put into our budget, when we did our budget, we put in a senior coordinator for $6,000 into the contractual line. You did that with me, Jean, it's in our budget, and the board approved it, okay? And we also put in extra money into our budget for programming. For example, the possibility of doing chair yoga at the community center for free for our residents, and we put money into the budget for that too.
We've got a guest.
Yes, I know, that's why.
I know.
So, okay, and so, we put money in, we approved it. We put money in to do programming for our seniors, so they could do like chair yoga and things like that for free, like they do in Woodstock, and we don't charge them, and we approved that. Kathy Puglisi was the head of Office for the Aging for the county for a very long time. I had the honor of working with her when I was a county legislator and on the committee that Kathy was a part of. And Kathy has graciously accepted the possibility upon this board approving her to serve as our senior coordinator. She will come to town hall once a week, either all day or twice a week for half a day. It'll be up to her. It will advertise it to our seniors. They will know that if they have questions, if they have concerns, if they need help to fill out paperwork, if there's a daughter who lives in California and their parents are here alone and they need help with their parents, they'll have somebody to call. This is a way to create a resource for the seniors of our community, because I don't believe we do enough in this community, nor did the board, because that's why we put this in. And so what I'm asking for is a motion from the town board to hire Kathy Puglisi as our senior coordinator at $6,000 through the contractual line for the town.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
Do we have a contract? You're taking it out of the contractual line. It's not an employee.
No, it's not.
That's the way you're phrasing it to me, so I need to know if you have a contract.
Oh, we did that in the contract.
Okay.
How do we hire consultants and we don't do contracts?
Yeah, we do.
No,
Do
with
it.
contract with that, we don't have a contract with Dave Clauser or Joe.
Every year we do, we renew them on the...
Well, we do them at the reorg meeting. Well, do you want to...
Pending contract.
Pending contract, okay, Jean? Thank you, subject to the execution of a contract. Can I have a motion to amend the resolution?
So taken.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any more discussion?
Thank you, Jean. This is
Okay,
why we love you.
all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion so carried. I'd like to give Kathy a second because she sat here for so long. I'd like to welcome Kathy as our new senior coordinator. We will schedule some time. We're also going to create a senior committee meeting that we're going to advertise to get some seniors to serve with us. That's how we got the community center out of the senior committee that we put together, who identified they needed a senior center. It became a community center, but it started with that committee. So I'd like to give Kathy a few minutes just to say hello to us, and since she sat for so long. But thank you, Kathy, and we're delighted to have you.
Thank you. I was sat so long I forgot what I was going to say. But it's a pleasure to do this. This has been my life's work for the past 15, 20 years. I worked with the county. I worked with Ulster Community College as RSVP director. So that's my thing. And listening to the RUPCO thing, I thought that's a good way to shove. You need to give me the questions that you can't answer, and I can try. I have a lot of the contacts in the county, and they're still with me. So that's what I want to do for seniors. And I'm going home. I've been up since 4 o'clock this morning. Well, I just came back, and I read every Florida newspaper. There are more seniors in Florida than you can imagine. So I was reading all about their things and the things they do, and it gave me a lot of good ideas. So that's where I'm going to start. So I will see you Monday, maybe? Yes. Okay.
Thank you.
It's a real honor to have you, Kathy, join the town. We're really honored, and I'm so glad. So thank you. So with that, we'll take a very quick little break, just so Kathy could leave and the village board members could leave, and then we'll try to wrap up the rest of our meeting. Thank you, Kathy. I'm sorry to make you wait so long.
one of the hookups. So that's my recommendation.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion so carried. Are you here because of the parade? Okay, so then why don't we just do that next? We have, I'm sorry, excuse me? Okay, if you can give us a few minutes, and then we'll do the public, well, we did it during the joint town village portion. Well, I just assumed that you probably wanted to say it to the town and village board, so I was expecting you to get up, but you didn't. So I sort of thought you were gonna. Okay, yes, I'm sure it is.
That's okay.
Okay, let's just do this parade so somebody.
I don't, what,
Yeah.
what,
What is the discussion?
I have the parade. No, there's a couple, okay, so guys, as you know, we only put money in the budget for the Memorial Day Parade and the Halloween Parade.
Right.
And if the village was going to authorize parades, we were hoping that they would take care of it, but that did not happen. And so we basically have the New Paltz Baseball and Softball Association. We have the...
Can we do them one at a time?
We can do one at a time. I do know with the baseball, the New Paltz Baseball and Softball Association, that actually the PBA has offered to...
Right. So can we make a motion
Yes.
and
Yes.
They're
just
doing all
say...
the security.
So
They're
then
doing all
that
the
one's
security.
put to bed, if we do a motion, to accept their...
Take the microphone, please.
I'm suggesting that each of these applicants pay an application fee in the amount of $450.
I thought part of the motion, though, that we had made was that we would kind of go current course and speed until everything after June 1st after.
Well, I think, how many are we talking about tonight?
We're going to talk, we have the Baseball Association, which for the moment the police are offering to do all the security.
Fire department's offering their vehicles.
Right, now we have Alpha Epsilon Phi, which actually, quite frankly, I did not see this one. From Athletic Center, you do that one for a second. We have the VFW Memorial Day Parade, but that one we don't have to do because that's already in our budget, and I mean, we could authorize it, but that we already have in our budget. Then we have probably the
Pride Parade?
the Pride Parade.
Palm Sunday Parade?
We have the Pride Parade, and we have, then there's also,
The New Paltz Police Department already denied the Alpha Epsilon.
Oh, they did?
size, so it's already denied.
oh, okay.
Submitted parade route exceeds available resources and safety measures. It was a parade planned to go from the college to McGillicuddy's bar. Does anyone want me to go past page 2?
They can't walk themselves.
Okay, so what?
Oh, they wanted a police escort.
That's the actual parade.
There you go. So, okay, so why don't you make a motion?
You know what,
to deny that
I
parade?
just want to make a motion that this should be a parade. It's the most creative parade I know of in New Paltz. You actually parade to McGillicuddy.
Are we misinterpreting something on that?
No, it's the
Every weekend anyway.
I make a motion that the Alpha Epsilon Phi be denied as our police have determined that it was it was not submitted in a timely manner. What did I say? Manner. And the submitted parade route, thank you, Kevin. The submitted parade route exceeds available resources and safety measures.
I have to write that one down. Timely manner.
I think that parade happens every weekend, though.
Yeah. I believe it's in, yeah.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion so carried. Okay, we have the, so now to go to it, Kevin, we have the baseball, we have the Pride Parade.
Can you separate them? Because this one, remember, we have volunteers for.
No, I understand that, but Kevin was asking a question. Kevin originally wanted to have everybody pay an application fee. We did sort of somewhat say that we would start on June 1st.
Well, that's for the new policy in place. I think each application that we accept and pass should be subject to the payment of an application fee.
Well, let me just look and see what is the process right now. The one that's in place right now, if it's a 501c3 based in New Paltz, it's a $25 application fee. If it's a C3 based outside of New Paltz, it's a $250. If it's a non-501c3 based in New Paltz, it's $50. If it's a non-501c3 based outside, it's $500. I think that's the existing policy.
We haven't changed since.
Oh, well, the town of New Paltz has implemented a new event parade. This was in 2011.
Changed since then.
So that hasn't been changed since then, so we're operating under the old policy.
So do you know what this organization is?
Which one?
The one we're talking about?
Baseball Association?
Baseball.
They're a
Well,
501c3 that's located in New
They would be local.
What's the cost?
Nothing, because the police offered to do it.
No, you
No,
can't do that.
$25. Is that correct?
Why don't we
$25 for a
just amend-
501c3 in New
Let's
Paltz.
amend the policy tonight that any application that comes in for approval will go with a $450 application fee. And if our concern is the cost of services for the parades, then in talking to the chief about total resources spent for a parade, I think $450 is a reasonable number given what the costs are. And that way the taxpayers aren't burdened by the costs of parades that are promoted by other organizations.
And that would exclude the current parades that we have?
That would include the current parades that we're about to approve.
Well, I mean, I kind of would have a problem with that aspect of it, though, just because, I mean, I think the Pride Parade, for example, I know they're already advertising the parade and making plans. And I do think that because we didn't have our stuff together, I feel like we're penalizing them because we now changed the rules on it. I'm not against the proposal. I just think that maybe for this example that we should let them still abide by the rules that they thought they were abiding by when they filled out the form.
Well, did the form indicate whether there'd be an application fee or not?
I think it does.
Yeah, there is. Yeah, this is the, actually, this is existing one that everybody works, that everybody puts
Well, maybe
in.
it's 500.
No, there's like
Excuse
a
me?
check, that it's a local check.
Kevin,
Yeah.
figure it out.
All right,
Yeah, this
so
is-
where is the number?
I voted against your.
They're,
Okay, I voted against your policy.
I don't see anything in
That's a
there.
nice.
no, it's right here. You'll see a $25 application fee. That's,
But some have it.
that's, you know what, Kevin?
Until June
That's
1st.
why there's been such a problem with the fact that all these,
Parades. What organization has applied for this parade?
the New Paltz
Okay,
Baseball.
and they're a 501c3 local, and it's a $25
That's what I'm
fee.
saying.
Okay,
Yes.
what's the next one?
The next one is the Pride Parade, which is the Hudson Valley LGBTQ Community Center, which I suspect is a C3 also.
They're based
Out
out
of
of
New
Kingston.
Paltz.
Biggest out of Kingston.
250,
So they're 250.
if I listened properly.
They paid $250 application fee.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Then I know that the St. Joseph's Church applied for a procession down Main Street, but for some reason I can't find their application.
I know we somewhere.
So let me,
That's odd.
what, that they're doing that or that,
Yeah, I don't remember them
well,
No, they,
doing that on,
they never did it before, this is the first time.
Yeah.
And this is, I think, is it all the churches or is it St. Joseph? All the churches are coming together to do a procession.
The New Paltz Church Council, it's called.
Mhm.
that would be why I don't remember
Couple of years old.
Mhm.
It's something else that was called the Clergy Council that morphed into the New Paltz Church Council. So we are not even a 501c3.
1C3. But you're all individual churches.
Every
All
church,
local.
but 8 churches in New Paltz, all 8 churches are part of this
And you're planning on doing a procession on,
procession.
on,
The 13th of April.
on Easter Sunday itself?
No.
Oh,
Sunday.
Sunday, I didn't hear, I'm sorry.
Sunday before.
The before, yes.
And for, what are the hours?
At 1:30, and it would probably, it would go pretty quickly.
Find the
15
application.
minutes.
Well, we're still paying the police for 2 hours, but
I
that's
know,
beside the point.
I know.
You did fill out an application? Or did you,
Apparently it was submitted in November.
Or maybe because it gets it.
I know the village took
Okay, so
action.
given the fact that we have applicants that have already tendered their payments, we'll stick with the existing schedule. of payments.
But can we make a,
June 1st was the date we were talking about before.
however, except for the fact that if we should get any between now and June 1st, why don't we act on the ones that we have now, okay?
That's what
So
we'll
the
do.
ones- so the
Anything
ones-
else will be subject to
Let's
the
talk-
new rules if they take place after June 1st.
Okay. Well, yeah, but it's only April, and,
But-
let's just do with the ones that we have, then
Right,
let's go
I agree.
second, okay? So let's segment it. Okay, so we have the Pride Parade, we have the Palm Sunday procession, we have the Baseball Association, and then we have the Memorial Day Parade, but that one, they don't fill out an application because we take care of that. So, do I have a motion to approve those parades? And we will take, we'll compensate the police budget for whatever cost we
So
will
moved.
incur.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion so carried. Now your parade is approved. Now you can go home.
But we would be willing to take up a collection to reimburse police because we feel it would be
$250.
wonderful if they could
We'll
make
take
some
it.
extra money on our procession.
Thank you, we appreciate that.
Can we do that?
I think you might be allowed to make a donation, but we can,
Donation.
you can make a donation. Yes, you can. Thank you, we really appreciate that. Thank you very much. We really appreciate that. Okay, now,
Make a donation.
do it to what?
I like the break. Since I'm doing the advertising, forget it, I can't. Since I'm doing the advertising, this is sitting at PDQ, and it's ready to be printed tomorrow. So,
Good timing.
yes. Well, only because I had to wait for this meeting tonight.
If only palm trees were a reality.
We can dream.
Yes, we can. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so now that we did that, now it's going to be April 1st. We have April and May. We could be getting more parades coming in. How does the board want to handle the 2 months before the June 1st?
A moratorium on parade application.
Well, we can...
No parades ever anywhere.
Bring back
Um,
St. Patrick's Day.
Okay, now, come on, guys. So, no, seriously, come on, because we have somebody who wants to speak, and we have some more things that we have to talk about. So, what do you guys want to do between now and June
Well,
1st?
Kevin and Sally are going to meet.
Thanks, Gene.
Is that the one that's first thing in the morning?
It should be $450 per parade, no matter what organization wants to.
Okay, well, the other thing said $500. I'm not opposed to what it says. What I was opposed to was adopting one form tonight, putting it in effect in June 1st, and then we were going to tweak it anyway. That's all.
We already covered that, though.
I know. So I'm not opposed to your 450.
Okay, so
Make
you-
it 600.
I'm with you.
Do you want to do 450 for all organizations, or is it 450?
I think I'd like to have them meet. I think I'd like to have them meet and then.
But the problem is, we might get an application
So
tomorrow.
let's treat the interim period as a $450 application fee. And that way, we are not putting the burden on taxpayers to subsidize parades.
Is that a motion?
Well, wait, can I ask a question first? So you mean 450 for everyone, including not-for-profit?
Everybody.
Well,
You can choose to have or not have a parade.
well, yeah, but like the baseball?
Gene, you can choose to have a parade or not. I mean, everybody should then have a parade on their birthday.
I was planning on coming to the board for one on August
Just have a
11th.
birthday parade. Why do we spend so much time on this? $450 for
Okay.
a parade.
Is that a motion?
That's what- yeah, is that a
All right, so
motion?
do we have a second?
I second
Not
it.
yet.
All right.
Any
I'll second
discussion?
it for discussion.
So it's 450, no matter who, no matter what.
Matter.
Okay.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And maybe subject to change once you listen.
Is that a vote?
Aye.
Okay, so we have a new policy that says any parade has to pay a $450 application fee, and we can rescind that when you come back with your contract. Okay, motion so carried. Okay, I'll open it up to public comment for the town board, and then we'll get back to work.
To address a financial issue, the town board is very vigilant about trying to reduce costs and keeping taxes down. I compliment you on the efforts that have been taken along those lines. There's something that might have been overlooked, and I don't suggest anything other than that. There's an expense that averages over $16,000 a month, and it's a single vendor. And it's, I would like to speak strictly in terms of economics here. That's engineering services by the town. And I wanted to point out to you, I don't believe those services have ever been put out to bid recently. And I think it's a fiduciary responsibility. We've had the same vendor performing those services well. I have no problem with the services being provided. But there's been discussion about a lot of engineering work, the water work, the new facilities looking to come into town, the new potential of a water park or new development. And these services can be put out to bid, and I think it could have a real impact on the cost the town is putting out there. Because it's my profession, I did a search on LinkedIn for individuals with the keywords. Who were PEs, professional engineers, who had municipal and other keywords on their profile and were available for employment between Woodstock and Newburgh, and I got 51 hits. Switchboard.com turned up 17 PE firms between Woodstock and Newburgh. So my suggestion is you give some consideration to putting those services out to bid. It may be that you'd end up with the same provider, but maybe at a slightly lower cost. This water work that's going to be going on is Christmas time for engineers. It may be good work, it may be valid, it may be paid by by various sources, but it's Christmas time for engineers, and I think as a board or as a community, we all have a fiduciary responsibility to put that work out for bid, to put those services out to bid, to possibly reduce what was almost $200,000 last year. I have the warrants, and it was $192,275 for a single vendor over the course of last year. That may vary from year to year, but it's a big chunk of change, and I really suggest, no bad intent, we haven't thought about that, but you need to think about it, and I think you really need to give it some serious consideration.
Okay, if you don't mind, I'm just going to, and it's not, to, whatever, but those numbers, just so that we're really clear, a really significant portion of that is an escrow account that was paid for by Wilmerite. So that's not taxpayers. That's and other applicants. I'm sorry, and other applicants. So basically, it doesn't show what's escrow, in terms of when we pay the bills. But
Don, if you go to our budget and look at the line item that we have for our town engineer, it's not that big of a number.
It's very small. And as a matter of fact, this particular year, from the town engineer portion, we've hardly been expending any money on the town engineer whatsoever. Where the money that gets spent, it gets spent in the B fund through the planning board, and a great portion of that is escrow money, and the planning board actually hires their engineer and their, and their lawyer. So most of that is planning board money, and I'd be more than happy to delineate those expenses for you.
So that he understands it, the money is an expense for paying for the engineer, but it's reimbursed by the applicant, so it's net neutral to the town. There's no expense to the town.
And in some cases, are the applicants local residents?
Sure.
Okay, well.
An applicant's an applicant, though.
Yeah, no, I understand. So I appreciate the distinction, and you can understand in looking at the warrants.
Sure.
Yeah, you can actually go and look at what we spent last year on the engineering line. I think we've almost had a reconciliation on that already.
Yeah.
And we can show you what the number is, and it's not that big of a number.
Yeah.
To be continued.
So, yeah.
Thanks, Don.
Okay, thank you. Is there anybody else who wants to speak? Okay, great, so we could keep moving. Okay, the reassessment of town for tax equity, I'll turn over to Kevin.
Okay. I've had numerous discussions with our tax assessor, and as part of the ICIB committee, I've done some research, and I think it's important for the town, given the commercial development we've had in the past, and given the fact that our investigation of the exemptions that are available to real property holders, it seems like there has been, in some cases, discrepancies, and in other cases, a misunderstanding of how those exemptions are applied to specific real property. I also feel that it's necessary for the town to enforce its own local law with respect to 420B exemptions. the law provides that that exemptions are granted under an A category, which is a mandatory category, 420A, and a permissive category of 420B. So if you're in a 420B category, you're given an exemption from paying real property taxes unless the town adopts a local law saying that you're not. So I feel that rather than try to handle that issue on a piecemeal basis, I think it's important that we authorize our assessor to initiate the process of conducting a reassessment of the entire town. It will involve approximately $6,000 of additional mailing expense and may also require her at some point this year to hire an additional person for up to 20 hours a week. So I suggest that we authorize her to proceed to present to us a tentative budget for this reassessment project and ask her to do that within the next 30 days.
Do you think, I mean, that's enough money, do you think, to do that?
Well, I think she said 6,000 more for mailing, and then up to 20 hours a week for a part-time person, starting pretty soon.
And I'm sorry, I wasn't trying to, I was just questioning because you're partially in the business. Does that sound like it's enough for you to do, for someone to do that? Like, does that sound like that's enough money?
Well, are you talking about the money to pay the part-time person, or
like,
for the
mailings?
mailings?
Are you going to get the work that we need from that part? Is that enough?
I'm relying on Lori's assessment of what we need.
And it seemed reasonable?
Seems reasonable.
Okay. That's what I'm like.
Okay, so there's also some new technology and some newer information available to taxing assessors to kind of bring them up to speed on their methods of assessing property. And because most towns have part-time assessors that are sometimes splitting their work with other towns, in speaking to our assessor, oftentimes there's not enough resources devoted to the assessor's office to implement this new technology that exists and to keep the records in the condition they need to be in to make sure that the community has a proper assessment spread across all property uses. So I talked to her about it, and this is what she told me. So I'm recommending that we start the process of reassessment.
And by law, we have to do that how often?
I think you do it every 3 years.
When was our last?
I don't know how we're going to do a reassessment with $6,000 in mailing and adding a body for 20 hours a week.
That's what I was.
I just don't understand how we're going to do a reassessment that way.
Well, that's what she.
In the past, we thought we hired a company.
Well, that's what she said. So maybe what we can do is ask her to come before the board and talk about her staffing requirements. That's what she said.
Okay.
And like, I'm not against it at all. It just the numbers don't sound right to me.
Right. I don't know of a reassessment that doesn't start at like $200,000 and goes up.
So let's bring
reassessment done.
I thought like they were like around 30,000 to bring somebody in to do it. But why don't we'll do a little bit more
I think it was 4 years ago.
4 years ago.
I think
So then we're state mandated, we said, for 3 years? So we're not complying with the state mandate at this point?
No, I think the rule of thumb is every 3 years.
Okay, it's not a okay.
So no, it is mandatory that you do reassessment.
But I don't know what the time frame is. It's not every 3 years.
It's not every 3, but there is a
So I'm just curious if we've been complying anyway.
But a full, I don't think you're talking about a full-blown reassessment.
Yeah, I'm talking about a full-blown reassessment.
What you want is a full-blown reassessment.
Right.
Roseanne, does it ring a bell to you? And you can no. I know you've been.
I do know
It was
that
done during Tony's.
No, well, I know we do. I mean, they did it when I came in the first time. I came in, they were doing a total townwide reassessment the first time I came in. We have done it. I know we're at 100% value and stuff, and so I know we do it. We've done it.
Michael did it.
Michael Dunham did it when you and I were working together. I know it was done. I think when Tony was here, I think it was done. So why don't we get a little bit of a history? Let's get a little of a better.
Here. I mean, there are separate categories for, say, residential. owner-occupied, that you can break into further subcategories. So there's a big difference between a single-family owner-occupied and then maybe a residential occupied by maybe 4 students or 8 students or 12 students. So actually the village has a better breakdown of different categories of occupancy that we're trying to get from them now so we can examine it and see how it would fit into an overall scheme of assessment. So, so that it's a little bit more balanced. So why don't we, I'm basically going to ask the board to authorize her to appear maybe at our next meeting.
We don't need to authorize it to appear. I can just invite her to come.
Okay.
But we'll do a little bit of research on the history of, when we've done reassessments and stuff. And what we might want to do is actually, what we might also do is maybe we've targeted different categories and done different assessments at different times, because I don't think the town has ever spent $200,000 to do a reassessment.
I
think it was about $30,000 to hire somebody from the outside to do it.
Maybe an outside body, but if you want a whole firm, that would be a different.
So let's we'll do a little bit more research, but we do have to.
Doing the whole.
We'll ask Lori to do the research.
Photographing.
I'm not doing it.
All right. Well, sorry, Jeff, what'd you say?
No, that's why I was just wondering about the money. It just didn't seem like the right money, so I just.
Okay, so
is the, I will say I support Kevin's idea, though, us doing an assessment and looking at properties, and there are rentals out there that are not being taxed properly or monitored properly. Yep. So I definitely support this, Kevin, so I just think I just want to make sure we're spending, allocating the correct funds.
Right. Okay. And there is a disconnect between some businesses and their income and whatever, so we really do need to get started. So let's do a little bit more flushing out, and we'll move it forward.
Good.
Okay? Awesome. Okay, next,
Thanks, Kevin.
court scanner. If you guys all just saw really quickly about that the court was having problems with the magnetometer and their scanners. And it has to do with the security of the court, and they don't have it in their budget because they didn't expect these to become problematic, but it's only $279. They're saying that they might have money in their bailiff line that they could use.
$279. I make a motion to allow them to get it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any conversation? Do you look?
No, I was just wondering if we could get the police department to buy it out of their seized drug fund account and provide it and leave one of those or 2 of those at the justice court for use by court officers.
Well, I don't know if they need this, and I have to.
I'm just saying.
Well, I don't know if they can or can't. That's something. I mean, there's real specifics with how they can use their money for the seized assets. So for $279.
Well, it would have to be an ongoing drug use thing, and this is just partial.
It's $279. We have a motion. We have a second. We're not accepting Kevin's amendment.
I already did it.
Motion so carried.
So you think it would be?
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
Security, police security.
Next time.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, next time. Okay. We want to do a little update on Startup New York. Kevin and I did, as per this conversation with the board last week, Kevin and I did meet with the college president, Richard Winters, who's a new communications person, and Shelley Wright, to discuss what they were doing with their Startup New York, and I will turn it over to Kevin.
All right, so we had some concerns based upon the report that was delivered to us, and essentially after talking to the president of the college, it was clear to Susan and myself that the available inventory piece of that equation, where they designated certain properties, and then the report also says they may designate in the future, that was simply based on an assessment of the available inventory of rental properties that were available at this moment and or properties that were for sale. And the reason why that inventory was required was because they're trying to give these companies that may be interested in coming and joining the college in its 3D printing effort an idea of what kind of real property resources are available to them at this moment, should they choose to partner with the college tomorrow, for example. I understand that there is some flexibility in the Startup New York program for colleges such as SUNY New Paltz to identify properties in the future, depending on the partnerships that they create with these outside companies. So I was very happy with the discussion that we had with the president. I would like to say that there's a very interesting separate initiative that's currently in the works for SUNY New Paltz, which is part of a strategic plan which will allow them to build an engineering department at the college, which certainly will attract students for engineering jobs, and perhaps this 3D printing effort will allow these engineering individuals to be placed in the 3D printing field. And he expressed a lot of other educational opportunities that are coming to the school, but I thought that was really kind of a significant new initiative on the part of SUNY New Paltz to have an engineering school. And I think it's very exciting. And they have plans for the construction of that facility should their requests for funding be approved, et cetera. So it was a very good meeting. I would say that I have no problem, but I will support their initiative, and then we also expressed the fact that maybe the town and the village and the college should engage in a more expansive dialogue in terms of how we can assist each other in moving ahead with opportunities and with cost and expenses and lots of other items, right, Susan?
Yeah. The thing, what they did say was that supposedly the Startup New York is supposed to be property, it's not supposed to diminish the property taxes levy in a particular community, and supposedly that is how this plan is being structured. Again, things change consistently as they work out the details. I think there was a lot of pushback on this project, and so I think it seems like the new iteration is basically not to diminish property taxes in a community.
And the college is basically
writing that into their plan.
Is writing that into their plan.
So they're writing that into that plan. One of Kevin and I's concerns that we expressed on behalf of the board was how to make sure that the state does not come in and basically usurp the college's belief that, you know, property shouldn't be taken off the tax roll. As the new iteration is being dealt with, it's giving approval on a college, local college level. So for the moment, I mean, the college really understands the implications of property being taken off the tax rolls at this point, after this long process that we've all just gone through. So they're very sensitive to it. They wrote it into their plan. Like Kevin said, you know, their vision for what they want to do. One of the things that the college president kept saying is no matter what they do with all these economic development plans, that they're an educational institution, and their goal is how does this all come back to enhance the education of the college. And so if they can create an educational opportunity for kids to be trained as engineers, but then leave the campus and stay in New Paltz and get a job, it's a continuum that, you know, works for everybody, and so that's how they're looking at it. And so we're being asked to send a letter of support. So I'd like the board to authorize me sending a letter that maybe Kevin and I can try to draft tomorrow or something, and we'll send it out to everybody, but basically supporting the way they're approaching this, the way they're building on the strengths of the college, reiterate, you know, how we appreciate their sensitivity to the property tax situation, and why that is really important, that it has to be in the final plan, but then basically lend our support for the concept as a whole. So I think that's what Kevin and I would like to see happen. So do I have a motion?
So moved.
A second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion so carried. Okay. We have the recreation sports contracts. So we have
Football?
football. Somebody want to move the football contract?
So
Oh,
moved.
you don't have it?
Do you want to authorize?
Dollar amounts, I believe, are
Schedule.
as per, you want to just do it as the schedule, as scheduled?
Budgeted and
Right, okay. Do I have a-
Football is $1,215.
Okay, so you want to second that, Jean?
Sure.
Any discussion?
Right.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion so carried. Okay, this is football. Why am I- oh, is-
Soccer is $1,485.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Go ahead, Jean, because I just have, to a pack.
Baseball/softball recreation is $2,205.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion so carried.
Basketball, ages 6 through 18. $990.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I have to abstain, I'm the treasurer of...
Well, he can't do it.
I'll vote
That's what I
for
said,
him.
I abstain. I abstain,
Okay.
I have to abstain because I'm the treasurer for the
Okay.
New Paltz Basketball Association.
Good
Motion
job.
so carried.
Okay, BMX. Well, we're just paying for everything.
Now, BMX gives us money back. BMX gives us money back. I didn't look last year from, we get a percentage of the concession stand when they have events out there.
And $945.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion so carried. Is that it?
I'll be done.
Are you done?
Yes.
Okay, the clerk's resolution, I'll turn it over to you.
Oh.
Rosanna, you don't want to talk about it?
Okay,
Okay.
I will make a motion. Oh, you want to explain it? Because I read it, and
Why
I'm
don't you go ahead and do it?
fully in support of the Ulster County Town Clerks and Tax Receivers Association. And I think that I'm making a motion to support this resolution.
Can you explain
that? Ulster County Town Clerks and Tax Receivers Association calls upon the county, state, and federal representatives to take the steps necessary to rectify the problems and improve the timely delivery and receipt of mail. Okay? What, did I make that too abbreviated for you?
Not at all.
Okay.
I just think it's funny, that's all.
Well, because there was too many problems. There were instances where delays in the delivery of mail caused serious problems for Ulster County town clerks and tax receivers. And you know what? Have you noticed? No one has a problem with their mail?
I've noticed that I haven't
Okay.
gotten a bill that I keep waiting for, and I'm
Oh.
getting charged a late fee, and I've never gotten a
okay.
bill.
So, yeah. So when I saw it, when Rosanna sent it, I was like, you know what? It's a good thing these girls are complaining, and boys, whoever. All right, so that's my motion.
Your mail can go all, just so you know, your mail can actually go as short, from here it goes to Albany, and it can go as far
Right.
as Syracuse, your mail. So if you mail a letter from, if Roseanne mails a letter from here, potentially it could go to as far as Syracuse before it returns back here.
Right.
Well, no, I mean, honestly,
And
I
this is in
mean,
the name of government.
Timely delivery and receipt of mail
No, but I
began
think
to worsen from the time that it was transferred from Kingston to Newburgh and then to Albany. It's a bummer.
no, I know. Honestly, I had asked my husband about a particular bill, knowing that they charge like this, really big late fee, and he said, I haven't gotten it. And the next thing I get on my email, that my bill is
Wow.
overdue and I'm being assessed a late fee.
Who's this being
Wow.
sent to?
To every elected official imaginable. It's right here.
Every elected official. That's going to do a lot of good.
Okay.
Well,
Anyway,
I do think that I was at the meeting with Rosanna where they passed this resolution, and our federal representatives in the Hudson Valley have all acknowledged this and sent letters to the postmaster as well, asking for this to be fixed. So there is some work. I know you cynically said, oh, great, we're sending these to all our elected officials.
Okay.
At the very least, some work has been done.
terrific, great. So we have a motion. Do we have a second? Somebody make a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion so carried. Thank you, Rosanna, for bringing it to our attention.
Now all of your mail will not be delivered.
Good luck.
Mine.
Yeah.
That's what I get for supporting Rosanna.
Okay, so we
No,
did,
ma'am.
the senior coordinator,
And there's-
Richard Feisel, okay, we need a motion to appoint Richard Feisel to CWASP.
So moved.
Do I have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion so carried. When we did a motion last time for Dennis Moore, we appointed him. We appointed him to a 5-year term, but we have to, he was actually appointed to fill an unexpired 5-year term, so we have to appoint him to a 3-year term. So I just need a motion to amend the appointment for Dennis Moore to a 3-year term from CWASP. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion so
Aye.
carried. Okay, minutes. We didn't leave anything else out, right? We didn't do that? Okay, the minutes. I did make some changes to the,
I just got the which ones.
okay, I did, is everybody ready to do the minutes, or?
Yeah.
I have, the only one I have changes to, and there are a few, is the February 27th one, when Wilma Wright came and met with us, because I think there should be some things that should be added. So I'll start with March 20th. Is everybody, that was when we got the presentation from Steve Turk at Rocky West Ranch. Everybody okay with that?
Yep.
Motion from,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Motion so carried. Okay, the March 7th, that was when we just came in and did a very quick thing on overtime for the Justice Court, a town clerk appointment. That was
Blah, blah, blah.
a morning meeting that Dan, Jeff, and myself were at. So, and you came in a little bit later, Kevin, because we ended up,
Because I had a meeting.
yeah, you came in, does it show that Kevin came in? Yes, 8:21, you came in, because that's what we're supposed to work on the appraisal. For this,
We're working on something else.
no, but in here, we ended up authorizing up to $3,500 to get an appraisal of CTG, and,
Oh, I don't.
yeah, it's in here, and you were supposed to do a
Are
little
you
research to
sure it
find us an
wasn't-
appraiser.
Oh,
It's actually in the
okay.
minutes.
I did find an appraisal.
Never mind.
Okay, well, we never, but we haven't done anything, but, so we have to
You're
take
right.
action.
I remember doing that
Okay,
one.
so on the March 7th, do I have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion so carried. February 20th, Kevin, you were absent. This was the one where we did the electric charging station
Okay.
and the town map.
Yep, there was no.
And the new capacity zone resolution. So, do I have a motion?
I'll move it.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motions are carried. Okay, on the February 27th one, I have some things to add. I can go through them, or I can hand them to Rosanna. Would you like me, this is when the Wilma Wright, right. So what I'd like to do, I'll go through it real quick. If you, under where it says discussion with Wilma Wright, where it says 1, 2, 3, fourth sentence, he distributed a full tax agreement proposal to the board. I'd like to add in after proposal, he distributed a full tax agreement proposal as defined by Wilma Wright to the board. Okay?
She appears to be agreeable.
Thank you very much. Okay, now if you go down to where it says Supervisor Zimmett, Supervisor Zimmett indicated the town was told that if Councilman Barry, who had been authorized by the town board, signed a confidentiality statement, he would be shown Wilma Wright's pro forma. Mr. Griffin indicated that was not the case. Then it goes into saying that before the next paragraph, I want to add in, because it leads into the next paragraph, he stated he has been trying to meet with the town, and we wouldn't meet with Wilma Wright. He made that statement. And then the next statement then follows, supervisors indicated that about a week and a half before the public hearing, Kevin Wilmot, Mr. Griffin from Wilmot reached out to her to schedule a meeting with the town, and then I want to add, for the first time. And then I want to add, the town board agreed that Mr. Griffin should get in touch with Attorney Lithgow to arrange to meet with Councilman Barry and the town assessor to discuss figures and questions. And then I want to add in, Sean Griffin stated the assessment should be $10 million. And that is all I have to do to amend that, if it's acceptable with you.
So you're saying that the assessment for the entire project is $10 million?
Sean Griffin stated that the assessment for the entire project should be $10 million. I want that added in. Okay, so would somebody like to make a motion to accept the minutes as amended?
I will make a motion to accept the minutes as amended.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion so carried. Okay.
Did you see the record?
Oh, we have March 10th. What's this?
They quoted him in.
I have the 7th, the 20th, the 20th.
Arbitrary and capricious. It says good when the lawyer, it's not better when an attorney says
Oh,
it.
that Monday night?
Thank you, Counselor.
I know it's right.
We
Right.
and we had no action.
Right, so you wouldn't mind moving?
I make a motion to approve the minutes of March 10th.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion so carried. Okay, the warrant? Holy mackerel. Oh, no warrant. Okay, so this is amazing. That's right. 10:15. Holy mackerel, with the joint town village meeting
yeah.
on top of it.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Oh, we didn't do Startup New York, but that's okay. It's not up to us to adopt it anyway. So we, motion to, okay. So we.
We just ended the meeting.
We did.
All in favor?
No.
Goodbye.
Aye.